Oh, hey!
Oh!
I think we're live, right?
We are live.
Hey, hey gang. Welcome to episode 18 of Legends of Avantris.
Holy moly.
18? It's been 18.
18,
Our
wow.
first Saturday session since October.
Is it?
Can you believe
Did
that?
you really
Wow.
look that up?
Well, I just
Dad
knew that
nerd.
it was last time. Anyway, that's insane.
So yeah, first Saturday.
Yo,
thanks
nerd.
for bearing with us for our
Misaki,
series
going.
of plague delays. It's fine. You know, we've had plagues. Stuff's going around in our area, in the DC
I was
area.
hanging out in the Merc and Draw.
Yeah, it's been rough, but we should be back to a standard schedule for the most part, hopefully, going forward.
Next weekend.
If anyone is new, welcome. We are a 5th edition campaign. We have an 8th level party. We've been playing for about 2.5 years at this point, right?
Yeah.
A little less than 2.5 years, I guess. And
Almost.
yeah, almost. And I guess there's homebrew rule set in. Most of the rules are written, but we have some homebrew stuff. So if you want to complain about it, just put in the comments with the page number and whatever book it is, and say why we shouldn't do it. And I guess that's all the housekeeping that we need to do.
Choo.
And we'll just go around the table and the Skypes and introduce the party. So we have Rishi playing Odette, Stonehearth Mountain Dwarf Fighter. We then have Ganji Stormscale played by Scotes. He's a Bronze Dragonborn Cleric of Bahamut. We have Sylvie Flickerwicket, a Forest Gnome Warlock Arcfey Patron Titania Summerport. We then have Kelsey, who plays Annulin Mossgrove,
Hello.
a Wood Elf Ranger, a Hunter Ranger, and we then finally have Andy with Avantris True Strike, a High Elf Rogue, swashbuckler variety, and after learning from a Santa Claus flavored pirate, and
Good flavoring, Mike.
yeah.
That's
What does
choice.
Santa taste like?
You can ask Sylvie in game.
Oh, God.
Gross.
Can we not?
Let's
Can
not
we
do
just
this.
never
Jesus
do
Christ.
that ever? Please.
Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen.
For the love of God.
So with that, I guess I should announce that this is an adults only, or whatever you call it. It's not for, it's for mature audiences. We're very edgy.
Yeah.
Should
3
edge
and
lords.
5 me.
335 me.
Which we mentioned only so that those babies out there know how cool they are. What's up?
Hey kids, come watch us.
What's
We'll
up,
be
you
streaming
cool babies?
Minecraft actually mid-session, so come watch us, kids.
Sometimes we bake.
Oh, and Roblox.
Roblox, Minecraft, and Fortnite, we got you covered, guys.
For all you cool babies.
We all you cool babies.
Snorted.
And with that, I
That was so
think
good.
and I'm Mikey. I'm the Dungeon Master. I write fan fiction and roll dice. And with that, I think we're ready to get back into last time on Legends of Avantris.
And ordinary world.
And Dragon Ball Z, but I was going to say that, but I don't want to get sued because we're real raking in the dough here. There's a lot of money for them to take. Last time on Legends of Avantris, the party was recovering from their vicious battle with the second form of Deodra Tidehunter, the priestess of Umberly, the evil sea goddess. They did some investigation around this chamber. They found that there were strange markings on these pillars. There were 3 pillars that had all the same carvings, of which there was a horrific eel, fish-like creature with 3 vertical eyes wrapped around a bunch of humanoid fish creatures kind of worshipping it or having their arms to the sky, and then beneath, deep below the water, they actually saw that below was a huge mass of tentacles and strange crustacean insectoid looking legs, invertebrate legs. And then after getting the notification, the alert from Lumi that Cecily, the widow of the whaler, was being captured by 2 crooks that were investigating the cavern, the mouth of the cave of the mouth. They were very, very deep underground. They weren't able to do anything. They were gone by the time they got there. They rested up, realized that there were vultures in the skies, seas in the ship. Seas in the ship. Wow, ship in the seas. This is what you get, guys. This is what you get. Low budget dungeon master. Ships on the sea. They're keeping an eye out for the party just in case they manage to survive their encounter with Deodra. And with that, the party stealthily made their way out of the cave, then made it inland and went into the Cudgelmire, the huge swamp that covers really the entire island. And after figuring out the best ways to make their way through the swamp, it took them about 2 days, not quite 2 days, but about 2 full days of on-foot travel, and then got into a little scrap with some of the inhabitants, the monsters that resided in the swamp, just a few of the monsters rather, and but managed to avoid a lot of other dangers, and they finally made it to Gangplank, the city or the town where the crooks seem to congregate and reside.
And we had a long rest right before that, right?
You had the combat, and then it was a long rest, and then you guys just finish up, and then so you had a long rest through the day, and then basically you guys just woke up, and you've arrived at the a river coming down from the volcano at the center of this island. And we'll just call it a volcano. That's what it is. It's mountain.
Volcano.
We'll just call what it is. Call a spade a spade.
You know?
It's fine. It's fine.
It's a good policy.
It's a good policy. The river coming down, emptying into the lagoon, and then on which this town is built.
Witches. There are witches.
There are witches. Yep. The town that it was built, and so you really as you've come outside of the swamp, the disgusting still water has subsided. It kind of goes into a little bit of just more foresty area, a little tropical forest area, until you've reached kind of right outside of this city. And so if there's any other questions, if there's no other questions, then we can just get into the session.
Let's jump on in.
Okay.
What was the name of the city?
Gangplank.
What's the name of the river?
Gangplank River. You don't know.
What's the name
What?
of the
You don't know
monster
shit.
edge of Gangplank River?
What?
Thanks, you fuckers.
What's the name of the volcano?
I'm a volcano!
What fish are natural to the Gangplank River?
What was that?
What fish are native to the Gangplank River?
Salmon?
Those are, what are those called? Jaws and chomps and shit.
Oh yeah.
What?
The
Yeah,
sharks.
Croctopuses? Croctopuses?
Oh god, this fucking croctopuses.
Alright.
And with
Chomps
that,
Is that a real thing?
No.
I don't think so.
They're Donkey Kong Country enemies.
That sounded dumber than I meant it. I meant, like, is that a thing that exists in fiction already?
Oh.
Yes.
yes.
We're making
Is that real?
we're making references here. Yes.
Here we go. This music.
Okay, so,
Under the cover of darkness.
Yeah. What? Sorry. Did you say what time it was?
so it is just past, let's turn this down a little bit. It is just past sunset at this point. You had really tried to time up your voyage through some quick scouting through the treetops and Annulin's knowledge of nature. You guys have timed it basically to arrive right after sunset at dark. And as you pass around a river bend and over a bank, you see Gangplank rise up past the trees of the Cudgelmire, divided by the river that emptied into the lagoon. Its patchwork buildings, if you could really even call them that, sit on sandy shores, cobbled together out of wrecked ships, supplemented by bits of swamp wood and driftwood from the sea. The city continues out into the water, the town really, keeping above sea level with stilts and pilings. Its torchlit streets of wood and sand are broad and chaotic from what you can tell kind of from these outskirts. And doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of intentionality to how this town was really built. And as you emerge from the trees and maybe just staying behind the tree cover, you see that the moon is hidden behind the classic standard gloom and cloud cover that you've seen basically since you've been here. And there are very, very few stars in sight, only really flickering firelight from within the town illuminating anything.
Ooh.
So.
Well,
Let's think about what our objectives are here. Do we need to? Are we trying to just eliminate their captain, or what are we looking for?
well, I don't really know.
I
know we
mean,
wanted to go after Orpheus, and we were worried about his reinforcements. So
Didn't we
we can
also...
try to eliminate them all, or we can just eliminate the captain.
eliminating the captain is definitely a start.
Yeah, because I know we wanted to diminish his forces a little bit, at least like hinder him a bit. But he was also like making statues or something out of dead
A
women.
display, I think.
Yeah, I feel like we should do something about that, especially if there are prisoners that are still alive. So I think those are kind of...
But that doesn't answer how we're gonna walk around in this town.
What time is it?
It's probably 7:30ish, 8. It's dark has fully set over the town.
I feel that we could sneak around corners and things of that nature, but that's not really gonna get us very far, and I don't think we could walk through the streets and not draw any attention to ourselves.
I think we need to know where we're going in this town, so can we scout it out?
We have,
Good idea.
we have people who can fly.
Well, we have Batman.
That's what
And
I
I
was thinking.
tug on Avantris' cloak.
All right. I understand. I can handle this, I suppose. Are there any? from
In
where I'm
doing so, I
standing
want to
now,
give him bardic inspiration for the next 10 minutes.
Are there any buildings that look to be more ornate or larger than the rest? From where I'm currently standing.
From where you're currently standing, it's kind of hard to see. You do notice that that there seem to be certain points in the skyline that are punctuated by larger towers, and these towers seem to be aviaries or roosts of giant vultures. So giant vultures are flying all over, flying overhead, all around. It seems like they are a part of life in the city. And they're the larger, more ornate ones that you can see from back where you are just these towers that rise above that seem to host most of these vultures, and at least where it might be like not parking, but basically where you would leave your mount.
All right, gang. I'm assuming that the captain is one who would like some sort of luxury or the ability to have some better lodging. So I'm going to look for some of the bigger buildings and see if I can locate where his quarters may be.
Sounds like a good
Okay.
idea. If we could also, I wonder, I don't know how close we want to get to those vulture towers, but I wonder if there is a way we could sabotage them somehow.
Burn them down. That's
Yes.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yes, if you can get close to them without
Well,
tipping your head.
but if we burn them down, won't that trigger that there's some kind of attack going on, and then they'll be on high alert?
I was
It
figuring.
hasn't stopped us in the past.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I almost died
No, I
recently.
I certainly wouldn't suggest leading off with that. But like, if once we take care of the captain and we go after Orpheus, if we can kill their mounts, they can't follow us very easily.
True.
All right, I'm going.
Okay.
I channel the power of the bat, and I fly off into the night.
Okay, are you grabbing your cloak and flying that way, or are you actually
I'm
polymorphing?
going to polymorph.
Okay, so you've done this a couple times now. You're starting to get a hang of this polymorph magic. You feel your form shrink and shrink and shrink until you're a tiny little bat, and you are flying over the city. And it hasn't been too long since nightfall, and the town seems to be bustling with hurried movement and uproarious shouting. Some jovial, others angry, and others very serious. Outside, you catch glimpses of these crocodilian lizard folk walking through the streets, some drinking outside what you assume to be taverns, others fast asleep right in the street. You see the same varying builds and coloration in the creatures, from teal-scaled, hulking brutes to orange-scaled, sneakier ones, not much larger than halflings. However, you see a majority of the population of this town are of medium humanoid build with dark green hides. And you had seen mostly more of kind of the broader shouldered versions, but you actually see some slender ones, which you guess may be female, and even smaller little hatchling gator folk. They're crocodile folk. And this seems to be a large hub of where they live. As you're flying through, I need you to make a stealth check. And we'll count the cloak because...
And you have bardic inspiration, so.
Is that just plus 1d4?
It's a d6.
One time used or like always?
It's for 10 minutes, so you probably want to use
It's
it.
a one-time use in
But it's
the
one
next
time
10
use
minutes.
in 10 minutes.
Okay, alright. I got an 18 plus 11 is 29.
29, okay. And
Yeah, we're gonna see where
can
you
you
go.
just do a quick investigation check for me, just so we're like, let me get a perception and an investigation just to cover your whole exploration here.
Sure. So I'll do perception first.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
And investigation was a 26.
Okay. Great. So as you're flying through the sky as a tiny little bat, you hear the sound all around you of heavy beating wings and low squawking that dominates the airspace over Gangplank. With seeming perches, the Crook's giant vulture mounts are fastened all over the tops of structures. As you kind of get a skyline view of the city, it seems like there are vultures roosted on tops of all of the buildings, some on remnants of mass, others pieces of whole cobbled together, but it seems like every single, or most of the buildings have been built and cobbled together with aerial transport in mind. And so it seems to be very much an inherent part of their life here. And how close are you getting down into the city?
I wanted to do a pass high up first to see if I could see any buildings that kind of stick out and are more ornate, and then focus in on a building that could potentially be the captain's quarters.
Okay. You fly around all over the city. This seems to be much larger than you would have guessed that like lizard folk would be able to build. And especially something that which most lizard folk are considered to be the kind of swamp dwelling and tribalistic. These have built some kind of civilization scrapped together, almost like a facade of civilization. And most of the buildings here are very quaint and basically whatever they could cobble together. A lot of taverns, a lot of just kind of dwelling spaces for these lizard folk. Nothing really seems to be gaudy. The main feature of this town, you notice, seems to be in the center. Large empty space at the center of Gangplank. It has a single centerpiece, which is a huge structure built from ruined masts and crow's nests that resembles a perch for someone's pet bird, but multiplied exponentially in its size, far bigger than even just the standard giant vultures that you see flying over currently. Beside the perch is a huge raised wooden dais with spiraling steps down to the street below. And as you get a little bit closer down, you see that there are poles erected all around this square. And in a circular pattern around this perch, and kind of dotting really throughout the city beyond, are posts tied to which are humanoid corpses, covered in horrific, rotting wounds, many missing limbs, some missing their head. On the remaining flesh, you are able to see flickering in the torchlight blue tattoos.
Well, that's about its time.
They got all the...
So,
cultists.
as you fly through the city, and so basically to answer your main question, there doesn't seem to be any palace or anything of luxury. However, something that you do notice is that there seems to be most of the vultures are. It's approaching night. You have some that are flying off over the swamp, some towards the cave that you guys had come out. But there seems to be a back and forth of vultures between Gangplank and that huge keep, that huge fortress up on top of the volcano.
Okay, I'd like to try to fly closer to where the vultures are departing from Gangplank to the volcano.
Okay. You fly down and you see that there are several of these roosts spread throughout the city, but you just go to the one that's closest to you. You see that it is crafted together out of the remnants of masts mostly. A lot of different roost areas, nest material, a lot of rotting, dead creatures, mostly just swamp creatures, hunted, a lot of rotting fish as well. These vultures seem to be eating really anything. You see a few nests with large eggs. Seems to be like they're incubating and breeding these creatures. But you do see that there seems to be some kind of flight master of some kind standing at the top of one of these things. And some crooks will occasionally come up, walk up the spiraled tower and request a vulture, or they'll get their own vulture that they had left parked there, and then they'll take off and fly off towards the keep or otherwise. As you get a little bit closer, you do start to hear some voices. You start to hear some voices that gives you the intention that they've heightened sending word between Gangplank and King Krem's keep.
Okay.
And
that.
that they are very, they're trying their best. You see some kind of going around cleaning up, trying to hammer in a few loose boards and try to tidy up some of the vultures' nests, as they're saying I don't know when King Krem's gonna be here. I think he could be any second, so we gotta make sure this place looks really presentable. And so there seems to be a little bit of tenseness in the air here.
Alright, I'll do one last sweep of the city to find anything that might be of interest and then head back to the
Okay, so we'll keep those investigation and perception rolls just for the sake of this. And as you fly through the city, you're just looking like a normal bat. No one really seems to pay any mind. There may have been a time where a vulture flying a little bit closer considered kind of going and getting a little late night snack, but it continued flying. Its rider maybe jolted it back onwards. You fly through the city, and you are getting, just for the sake of brevity, you're getting a sense that a lot of these, that there seems to be most of the crooks seem to be very pleased with the Hall of Golhaven. You see many crooks wearing very fine clothes that doesn't fit them at all. Maybe it's too tight, maybe it's way too loose. Some with gaudy rings all over their fingers. Very fanciful ceremonial weapons. Tons and tons of exotic alcohols, rums, whiskeys, ales, and wines from all over the world, which you could probably guess that they have either pirated from other ships or a lot that they had stolen from Golhaven. They're throwing bags of gold at each other because of how much they take. They are very pleased with their haul. However, as you kind of see that there are certain groups and certain windows that you might lurk by that have strange whisperings of not really being sure or not really agreeing with the direction of what King Krem is doing, and seeing a little bit of disagreement and talks of don't be caught, don't spread word of mutiny, and little voices here and there, very huddled in dark alleys. And you hear mention of the one thing that really seems to stand out for you, given that your whole purpose in coming here. You hear mention of the 3 prisoners, and that the 3 prisoners are to be kept until dawn.
Ooh.
Just writing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so then I'll return back to the rest of the group and turn back into human.
Cool.
Alright guys, so there's a lot to unpack here. First off, the place is absolutely riddled with these creatures, and I saw lots of glowing blue tattoos. So I think that some of these children of the sea may still be around here somewhere. I'm not really sure how that works, if they've just...
Wait, they were dead,
Sure.
yeah?
Yeah, they were dead. So the torchlight was illuminating the tattoos of the corpses.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
The children
I
of the
wasn't
sea.
sure if it was magically illuminated.
No.
Okay.
It was flickering. I was trying to be artsy.
Gotcha.
The children of the sea
Fucking
have
DM.
been, it looks like, slaughtered. They're dead, and their corpses are just kind of littered around. Maybe they're being used for vulture food. I'm not entirely sure. I did find also that the vultures seem to be making trips up with crewmates all the way up to what they call Krem's Keep. So unfortunately, it sounds like right now the captain is not here. Due to the speculation that I heard, while flying amongst the people, they are expecting him though at any minute. He could show up at any time to come down from the volcano lair. So I'm wondering if he's just, staying with Orpheus and they're working on some new plan. It's also strange that while all of them seem very happy with the haul that they've gotten, there's whispers of potential mutiny. I don't know if we can use that to our advantage and try to stir some trouble, but I don't think that the captain has an iron grip on his crewmates here. And lastly, they mentioned 3 particular prisoners that they need to keep until morning. I don't know if they're going to be doing some sort of ceremonial feeding. In the center of town, there's this giant vulture roost, and it looks like it would house a vulture many times the size of anything that we've ever seen. I don't know if it's some sort of ceremonial feeding. I don't know if something's going to happen at dawn. I'm not sure. And the only other thing that I would say before we decide to come up with any kind of a plan is once we're done, maybe eliminating the threats, there is a lot of gold down there. I don't want to get distracted, but there's a lot of good
That's
stuff down there.
very honourable of you, Avantris, to want to collect the gold and return it to Goldhaven. I
I'm saying I
appreciate.
don't think we'll be able to find their owners if you catch my drift. Wink, wink.
I definitely catch your drift because I love money.
There's a lot of potential good loot down there, and while I would like to do the good thing and try to find each gold piece's owner, I think that's rather
Well, I think we should get paid for our time, for sure.
Right.
Definitely.
It seems like we have 2 good people related to you, Vandris, that could maybe use that gold.
Yeah, like
Right.
Sylvie
Let's
and
think
Looney.
Or
Listen,
Seamus.
my point is, there's a lot of treasure down there, and we need to make sure that we at least take a look around before we leave for good.
And then pray that we have some way to transport it all back once we're done.
I mean,
We'll figure it out.
I'm wondering what the prisoners are. If they have something to do with whatever Orpheus's plan B is, that seems like a thing we should
So
look
my
into.
concern is that it took us a long time to get here by boat, but if they can fly on something that's gigantic, they might be able to get from here to Goldhaven much more quickly, and we haven't been there to protect the town. What if they have somebody important, like... Well, I don't know if there's anybody important in town. But if there were somebody important in town, maybe it took them.
That's a thought for sure. I think that's certainly a possibility. It could be.
Like, what if there was an attractive gnome in town?
One of the prisoners could be the what was her name? Cecily or something?
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, what if there's an attractive male gnome in town that could potentially be a suitor? And they took him.
Oh, like the beaver guy, or what was his name? The muskrat?
Who?
What was he? What was his?
Who?
I don't know who
His
he's about.
the gnome that she went to the masquerade.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, who cares about him?
Barnabas.
No, whatever.
None of us know who
Barnabas
you're
Bond.
talking
Well,
about.
anyway,
No.
I took notes. I could probably look at his name.
I'm thinking about a muscular, tall, I don't know,
For a gnome.
yeah, like a 5 o'clock shadow and a dreamy bedhead and beautiful blue eyes.
Anyway, I had a thought. So when they mentioned mutiny, so I think I first jumped to the conclusion that they would be mutinying against King Krem. Is it possible that they're turning in against Orpheus?
Well, I think that's kind of implied. I think the idea is that
Do we know that?
Well, no, that's why it's implied, because we don't know, but we're implying it.
I think
It's a
that
word
she's right.
thing.
I think that if
Because-
they're rebelling against King Krem, it could be because of what Orpheus is
I
trying
think
to
it
do.
That's
sounds
what I
like
would think.
Orpheus is working with Krem and having him do things he wouldn't normally do, and the team of lizard men is unhappy because they just want to be plundering booty and troves of money. Like, that's what pirates do, right?
I think so.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
heard
it
about it.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I read it in a book once. Upside down.
That's
So-
pretty impressive.
I know. I'm very
Hard
talented.
to do.
So,
So,
I was upside down, not the book.
Can we? So we need to get into town and figure out these prisoners. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so. I think that we either need to rescue them and get them out of harm's way, especially if there's more sacrificial magic going on. We can't afford to have them having bodies for sacrifice.
So how do we go about getting into town without being noticed and strung up on pikes?
It's going to be tough. I think that I was expecting at least for things to die down at night, and they seem to be as active as ever.
Did you see anywhere that there may be some kind of prison?
No, it looks like the way that they house their prisoners is dead on sticks. It's
All right, fair enough.
Quite frankly.
Well, we know there are at least 3 alive. So he didn't see anything that was like remotely prison-like.
Probably not prison-like. There were a few buildings that had like bars on them, and you could probably deduce that if there were prisoners, they'd probably be kept closer to the square, where most of the previous prisoners would have been put on pikes. But as far as exactly where, yeah.
The buildings are all very similar, rundown. It wasn't anything that particularly stood out when I was looking for the captain's quarters, which obviously, as we know, is up in the volcano. But my point is that this is just kind of a thrown together makeshift civilization, and it's kind of a hellhole.
Well, then let's make haste. And
How do you do that? What ingredients are needed? I might have them in my
Don't you know the
bag.
recipe? Isn't it like a wizard spell, haste?
No, I don't have haste.
You don't?
No,
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
not
a
a wizard.
wizard.
You're a shitty warlock. Oh, that's
Well,
too
that is-
bad. Next campaign.
I want to
will
cast
be-
polymorph on Rhoda, please. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not really gonna do it.
You better watch it or he will. I have an idea for you next time.
Oh, do you? Okay, we'll see. So, I think it'll be very risky, but I think at this point, if King Krem's coming, we know how. So, anyway, I believe the large pouch is for his bird, which was the big two-headed, three-headed?
Two-headed, I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot he had that thing.
The size of that rock that we fought.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if them thinking King Krem would be there any minute or any moment, might be referring to sunrise.
Is there a way that we could disguise ourselves to look like we fit in more?
All of us?
Like, what does
Well,
everybody
we have one hat. We have one magic
Yeah,
hat.
so I know that Avantris is really great at disguises. I saw that when we met Matthias for the first time, because there were 2 of them about.
But he already looks like a crocodile.
No. And he kind of does.
That's
But
a bit of a
Hold on,
splatter
hold on.
thing.
I find some like filthy, like that green mud, you know, and like
Just
here,
smear it
try this.
How about we don't? Thanks.
Well, okay, so anyway, so I
Trying to
think
get the ideas.
Avantris would be fine on his own. I have my hat, so I could, because I'm small, maybe I could make myself look like a gecko, or like maybe one of their babies or something, and then I can polymorph Annulin into something.
So
That's really all I've got.
you have polymorph.
Yeah.
Just for the metagaming. You
Wow,
have
your voice changed.
so anyway, you have polymorph.
Yeah,
And
We have hack
invisibility.
disguise. We have
Yeah.
invisibility.
but I'm the only one that can use it because it's on me.
You can use
It's
what?
attunement. The hat of disguise, and it's for me. I can't use it on somebody else.
But you can make someone else invisible.
No.
You can?
I can make people invisible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can disguise.
Yeah.
Who can you make invisible? How
I can
many?
make 2 people invisible.
So 1, 2, 3. How many people can you
But then I
polymorph?
can't polymorph
All
anyone
right.
because my concentration is not nearly evolved enough to do all of those things at once.
1, 2, 3. You could. Vandus, dare we ask you to disguise yourself?
He's very good at
I
disguising.
can-
As someone that's not a human? What are you thinking? I mean, I'm always down for
Well,
trouble,
no,
but
maybe you could be a human, but you could be like a burly old gross pirate that just wants hookers.
did we see any other people
No.
that weren't lizard? No. There's just lizard people down there, guys.
Okay.
So
They're
hear
all
me out.
lizards.
What if?
I like where this is going.
Ganji, I know you don't like this, but what if we did do the dirty, like, crocodile motion?
Oh, I love
Then
this.
Vandris could be, or actually Avantris and Sylvie could disguise themselves as like tattooed up or not tattooed, just prisoners. And then Dirty Crocodile Angie could escort them to the prison.
This sounds like a very bad idea.
How about
We're gonna do the I brought prisoners?
How about we don't do? Okay, how about we do partially that, but like not the part where Sylvie is a prisoner, but where Rodek is a prisoner, and then you and I can be invisible.
Or I can be invisible.
So Rodek and I will be prisoners.
Yeah.
You can be a crocodile person because you have a hat of disguise.
Oh, I could if I wanted to. Yeah, I could be the baby.
And then you make Annulin invisible.
Oh, can I be
and
your
you get all five of us in.
Oh my god.
I can
No,
call,
hold on.
I can
Before
call
we
it Papa.
hold on.
Oh god, I can call it Papa.
Before
I will
we
do it.
this,
I will do it. It's fine.
I want to look at the river. So how does the river go into town?
The river is a little bit bendy, but it goes just straight through. It cleaves the town in half, basically. And there are bridges going all the way down, basically off into the lagoon.
This is the most
and
brilliant idea
walkways.
we've ever had.
And it's also built up onto those pylons as well.
Does it, Avantris? Did it look like this river would run somewhere nearby the center of the town?
Did I see that when I was flying?
I would say probably yeah.
So, like, yes, it flows into town, or it flows near or around the outside of town?
It flows into town. It cuts the town, but you're asking about the town center?
Yeah.
So you notice that it goes through, like, there's a little bit of area where it's entirely just built over with wood, where it would be, not too far from the town center.
How quickly?
Yes, the river flows into town, right?
How quickly is the river running?
A pretty fast current. I don't know.
It is Camel Toe Isle.
Now, let me know if this is crazy.
It is. I like Annulin's idea better. Let's do that one. Everyone for a vote? I vote for Annulin's
I vote
idea.
for at least hearing Rodek's plan first.
I agree. Let's listen. Let's hear the dwarf.
Now, I was stricken with
Can you
with this
cast
idea,
silence?
and I know that
Yes, but let's hear it first and then.
I'm the first one to probably overthink some plans.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really like having a plan.
Never.
I really like having a good plan. But what if we
No, I don't like it. Annulin, I
cast...
think we should
Hold
go
on
with it.
now. Now, hold on. What if
I just
we
wanna be a
cast
baby.
a Shroud of Darkness with our lovely ranger here,
Okay.
and we all get into our little foldable boat,
I need to try to remember the magic words.
which you have.
In its unfolded form, is it big enough to fit in the river, or small enough to fit in the river?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
it's like a
It's like a
dinghy.
little... It's a dinghy.
It's like a little whaling boat.
And then that way, we shouldn't. The river should be at least far enough away from torchlight so that it wouldn't be obvious that this like cloud of shadows going down the river. And then at that point, we can try to find some place to disembark.
We could. The problem is, once we get into town and we leave the boat in the Shroud of Darkness, then we're back to square one.
Yeah.
Whereas if we go in as prisoners,
Yeah.
it gets us closer to our goal.
Yeah.
I'm just okay. I have several concerns.
Me too.
One, I have a concern about actually making a plausible disguise.
Well,
Two, I have concerns about us actually bluffing our way all the way through the city.
Right.
well, I don't think you should worry about my kid voice because I can do this.
Hey, this is my dad.
And I think that it'll go over really well with everybody
This
who
is
loves
your
guys.
dad?
Yeah.
Sylvie, you are the least worrisome part of this plan, and that is saying something.
Right, Avantris is the most worrisome
Oh,
part of
okay,
this plan.
that's fair.
Why?
Have you seen his disguises?
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh, well.
I was thinking about giving him inspiration beforehand, but I don't think he'll need it at all. So I wouldn't do
Everyone
that.
recognizes my genius. Thank you.
I do.
He wouldn't look anything like a crocodile, does the thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would depend on how well you did it. I mean, one of the things I guess you would probably realize is that the size and the shape and the coloration is all very different.
Yeah.
They're all clearly crocodilian, and
So
so
his snout's much shorter.
his snout is much shorter. He
And,
has
like,
a little.
pointy.
He has little furrows on his head, but he otherwise looks draconic reptilian. It's,
Right, he's got scales. What you're trying to say? He's got scales.
it would basically depend on how good of a disguise you could do and what you guys did.
So I could do a major illusion around him and he could just walk with it.
But doesn't that...
But that's the concentration
Yeah,
spell.
I
If
was going
spells
to
had a
say.
certain thing that was them,
if
and then that would make it difficult for me to do other fun
That's
things.
what's them's. So unfortunately, you have all the spells, and you can only do one.
Well, I can do more than one.
Or
Do other
she
things.
uses the hat to disguise herself as one of the lizard folk, makes
Yeah, the
Annulin and Ganji invisible, and then we still go in as prisoners.
All right, but how do you think about taking the boat in and then doing that?
we don't have...
I think it's just we can try it.
I'm alright with that plan.
Sure. Let me just make sure that there aren't any, faults in our plan. Is all.
Are you looking in your spell book?
No, I don't have a spell book. I'm not a wizard. I'm looking in my head.
Oh. All right.
That's true, you aren't a wizard.
No, I'm not. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's why.
So
it's
my
bad.
concern is that just pulling off this plan through the entire town into the middle of it.
Oh, so I'm actually really stupid. I can make 3 of you invisible.
Oh. Okay. Make 3 of us invisible. Head of disguise, and Avantris is obviously excellent disguises, and we're good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan to me. I like this plan way better than relying on me to do any kind of disguising and bluffing.
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say.
And it's only for 1 hour, though, so we have to do all the important things for 1 hour.
Well, then we should definitely take the boat in,
Right.
I think, first.
Okay.
So,
That sounds like a plan.
Avantris, would you do the honors?
Yeah, I would be honored. I approach the river. I close one eye. I hunch over my back. I use my sword, Venom Spine, as a cane, and I say, "Fucking follow!"
Well done. Well done.
Take inspiration
I
from
was
that.
gonna say, please give
Take
him
inspiration for that if you don't already have it. As you say, you channel your inner Matthias, you chuck the little box, and as it flies into the air, magically it starts and it folds into a large whaleboat that can fit, I think, 10 people, 8 to 10 people. And it lands with a thud in the water. And I guess you're probably going to get ready to grab onto it and have everybody get out.
Is it an oar?
There's a compartment at the bottom that has 2 oars.
Oh.
This is a
This
fancy
is a
boat.
very nice boat.
Everybody get in.
I'm in.
Okay.
We're in.
You all pile into the boat. Vantage is holding it, trying to hold against the current. It's not too difficult. It's not just like it's yanking it away. But you all manage to get in. And are you gonna just do a stealth check? Or are you gonna do pass without a trace?
Probably gonna cast Pass Without Trace, but she's making coffee.
And since we're not physically moving, we wouldn't. Do we still take disadvantage for armor?
I would say
You wouldn't.
Okay.
I would
It's
say
only
no.
when you're
Yes,
physically
when
moving.
it's stealthy moving. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I just want to make sure that the boat moving doesn't.
As long as you're not rowing.
Oh
she's
no!
gonna
Fuck
cast
that.
Pass Without Trace.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, so do we want? I don't know how. Does it feel like it would take way more than an hour to get down there?
No.
Okay.
No. You're right outside. It'll take you minutes to basically get down into the town.
Okay.
We need to roll stealth, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get in the boat. We're gonna assume Anion's gonna cast Pass Without a Trace. We're gonna add 10.
She
right?
said yes, she was
Jesus.
going to.
I rolled a 29.
Oh,
Games
damn.
Wait,
stealth
no,
as fuck.
no, that's a 30. I forgot to add my bonus.
29.
29.
I hate to bust everyone's bubbles, but I actually rolled a 20, so that actually gives me 41.
Oh shit!
You're rowing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vantage is rowing.
Of
Vantage
course.
is rowing.
He's the boatman in the party.
10, 11, 12.
Maximum stealth.
I got a 22.
Okay. Anion?
I got a 15 plus 8, so 23.
Plus 10.
Plus
Plus
10.
10.
You're casting your spell.
33.
Mark the spell off.
That was with it. I rolled pretty shitty.
Oh.
23? Okay. So,
22, 23.
Anilin channels her power of nature to cast the Shroud of Night over all of you. And you start, Vander starts rowing and you start making your way down the river.
Oh, jeez.
Basically a moving form of shadow, but in the night with no moonlight really to speak of, and just very, and torchlight far away from you, you manage to make your way into Gangplank. And so the river cuts through. A lot of it is built up high on the shore, so you're pretty darn low. As you'll hear loud clattering of footsteps on wooden platforms as bridges and buildings are even built over top of this river. And you see very far down where it spills out into the lagoon that this is built on. And so how far are you guys going to take it? Just kind of to where you would Vantage would think is near the area.
As close to the square as possible.
Okay.
But I'm judging.
Okay. So Vantage, you're going to judge that there is a soft bank of sand with that's pretty low beneath it. It's actually underneath a bridge that's covering you, completely shrouding you in darkness, along with Amulin's magic. And you are able to kind of guide the boat onto this little sandbar, and you feel like you would guess this would probably be relatively close.
So we passed through the city. So we're like in the middle of the city now.
Yeah. You guys just saw what Vander saw, and I described previous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
We need to be quiet and set up our disguises and try to execute this plan.
Okay.
I whisper to the boat, "Fucking fall."
It flies up in a similar fashion. All you need to do is just pull it out of them, grab it out of midair, and
thank you, Matthias.
And it's yours. So you are on the sandbar now, the sandy bank beneath a large bridge. You hear a loud cluttering and rolling. You hear the pattering of tiny little feet, and you look around and you see a few gigantic rats kind of crawling around on some of the wood down in some slide into the river, and they crawl around, but they don't seem to be aggressive. They seem to be kind of scavenging off of the remnants of the Crooks revelry.
I am going to give Venom Spine to the invisible Rodak.
Okay.
Am I invisible? Yeah.
Because
Not yet.
as a prisoner, I do not want to be holding any weapons or armor.
No,
Maybe
I
armor,
thought-
but no weapons.
I didn't
but I'm
know
gonna
that-
need it.
Wait, you're the prisoner? I thought. I'm so confused. I thought we weren't doing prisoners anymore. I thought that we were just gonna both disguise ourselves as guys, and that you three were just gonna be.
Yeah, you were gonna disguise yourself as a.
I thought you were gonna be like an adult,
no.
and I was gonna be your child.
When did this plan happen? Where the hell was I?
It could have been in my head, but I think
How
it's a
old
good
are
one.
I thought that was. I thought that was.
I thought that's what we
I
had
thought that
decided.
he was going to disguise himself as a prisoner, not as a
So
crocodile pirate.
you think that a baby is gonna be able to get a large
you
elf
can
like that?
disguise yourself
But
as
if
a baby.
anyone goes to touch through my torso, I don't exist there.
I think.
No one's gonna touch you. That's
You don't know that. Have you looked at how adorable I would be as an alligator person?
I'm just.
Or
You
thoughts?
look like an ugly alligator.
I'm just saying, 2 crocodiles is probably going to draw less attention to us than a crocodile and an elf prisoner. I think.
Yeah, and if I don't know any of the code words, like, hey, what's the code word for putting an elf on a pike? And I say, Jigglypuff, and then they go, no, that's not it, and then I get thrown in a prison.
So what are we hoping to accomplish by not having any prisoners?
People not asking us where you transferring this prisoner from, and don't say cell block 1138 because that's
They don't
a dumb
exactly
joke.
have an advanced civilization here where they have like a catalog of prisoners. They put them on pikes and kill them.
Also, you get
We could be like, mind your own fucking business.
Also, you get to
Fucking
keep
guilty.
your venom spine. That's fun.
Yeah.
So, now, this might seem crazy. I want to look around and see if there are any, like, crocodiles on their own.
You are down beneath in the river, and you're seeing that the city is kind of up and around you, but you're deep into the riverbed here. The banks go very high up to where it's built.
This might sound disgusting, but what if we were able to pick off a lone crocodile and use his head and clothes
His skin!
to make a disguise?
Oh my god, we
You
could put
want to dismember someone, Rodak.
I do.
we could put
I
his
do.
skin on somebody. So I have to tell you a story. I have to tell you a story.
Unless it's a hobo.
So there was this one time that we were inside of this weird house, and I found this weird frog creature, and I put its skin on me, and I flew around on my broom, and I really liked it. So I think that one of you guys would like that too. Ganji?
We've completely lost our minds. We are running out of time, folks.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't think it's. I will mess it up. I know I'll mess it up. Do you trust me? I don't trust me. I don't. I thought it was just gonna be a baby. I can be a baby. Fuck that. I'm a baby all day. But don't ask me to do the big boy stuff. That's Vantis'
So then how
deal.
are we making, what was it, me? I'm the other crocodile guy?
Yeah, you were gonna be my dad.
How are you going to do that?
What do you mean?
With an illusion? Is that what we're doing?
Oh no, I guess I didn't think that through.
How
Was your idea to basically take him and then like skin him and then use the disguise kit to like make him look like a crook?
Yeah.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Look,
Okay.
I've literally murdered people, and that disgusts me.
No, it's all we have to do is take his head so you have the snout thing.
Okay,
That's
so
all we
look,
need.
I don't want.
Maybe his clothes.
I don't want to be an
You can
asshole.
repurpose a crocodile head that's already removed.
Look, I don't
Like,
want to. I don't want to be an asshole here, but
Sort of.
there are two people who are talking now that threw an innocent drunk into a house and exploded him. Now
Wait,
I don't
what?
want to.
No.
It
She,
exploded.
it's none of her weird dreams.
Trying to hash all of this out.
I'm just saying, for someone to be really upset about killing a pirate who's literally spiking innocent women, but also threw an innocent drunk into a house.
You are a deplorable human being, and
Well, thank God I'm a gnome.
You're a deplorable gnome, and I cannot believe that I'm about to agree to this. This is appalling. Rodek, who are we? What? Unbelievable.
Ambulance.
Do we have any other
Look
ideas?
around. Are there any stragglers that look weak and look like they need to be culled?
No.
Just make a perception check.
I'm doing it.
Well,
I got a goddamn 26.
Well done,
26.
lad! I give him
You
a big slap on the
hear
back.
a loud and then you see, almost by divine providence, a crook that seems to be at a medium build stumble into the riverbed, a bottle of empty bottle of rum
I can kill a drunk one.
in his
I roll
hand.
my stealth check.
Okay. You can keep the same stealth check.
Well, then I have a 41.
41. There you go.
I saunter over to him because I have not a care in the world, and I slit his throat.
Okay, make an attack roll.
And then I weep silently to myself and try to say a prayer to some god that I know doesn't exist.
Did you hear him say Bahamut when he did that?
25.
Okay, that hits. Roll damage.
I'm watching with a silence spell, by the way, just in case he tries to say something.
28 points of damage.
28 points of damage. So you go up to him and you take your rapier. You are stealthier than the night, and he is completely oblivious. You just snap his Steve Irwin it, snap his jaw together, and with one swift motion, he makes and blood spurts out, and he collapses dead in your arms.
I drag his lifeless corpse back to the group, throw him on the ground, and say, "Are you happy now? This has gotten very dark. I thought that I wouldn't have to be doing very much of this anymore."
How is this any different than murdering them in combat? How is this any different?
Yeah, that's my
I
question.
don't put their skins on for fun.
No, not their
afterwards,
skin.
Rodek.
We just need the snout. So hold on. I start taking his clothes off. Here.
I avert my eyes.
Put this on.
I wanna take the whiskey bottle or whatever, and I wanna start splashing it all over Avantris so he smells like a drunk.
I want you to know that I hate all of you. Everything that we've been through, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to
If we
any
stick to the plan, we stay alive.
Happened to any of us. You just killed him and are going to wear his skin.
Okay.
I take my axe and I silently take him.
So,
I
hold on.
decapitate his.
How much do you guys want to bet in a week from now he says he accidentally fell into the skin? Okay, let's
What?
do this. It was a joke. It's a gnome joke. You wouldn't get it.
Okay. As Vandris kind of sulks a little bit from what he said, you wrote it makes no time just yanking the clothes off of this. You find about 5 gold pieces off.
Fabulous.
And you find a what seems to be like a rusty cutlass of some kind, and you yank all the clothes off of him. And then as soon as he's disrobed, Rodek takes his axe and hacks his head off into the sand, so it's quiet. The axe hits quietly. The body kind of tumbles off into the river, and you are left with or if you want to grab it, it's whatever. You are left with a head about of humanoid of standard medium size.
What kind of weapon do we find? A rusty
cutlass.
cutlass.
Okay, Rodek, now what? Now what is your great plan?
You guys, we got a rusty cutlet.
Now, do we have any way to make fire?
Why?
So
I
we
think we have flint.
Why? I just want to know why.
just so we can cauterize, like, so he's not endless. This could get really gross.
Why?
We need to fashion the head onto Vandris's head.
Well, you gotta carve it out. How is he gonna fit his head in there if you don't carve it out?
You want to
What
job?
are we doing?
Well, there's currently.
You guys are just gonna have to do this.
There's
right?
currently.
By the way, I'm currently vomiting in the river.
There's currently bones and brains in there.
No,
so
that's
you
why he
want-
just wears it like a hat. And he covers his face with, like...
But if you do that, all the gristle and stuff's gonna fall into his eyes.
Yeah, so just make sure that it's relatively clean.
Well, how do you attach it on there?
We do a lot of rope and things.
You don't think it's gonna be noticeable?
Time out. Would my knowledge of disguise making help in fashioning a
Yes.
living? Oh, Jesus Christ! I rolled to make a goddamn disguise.
Well,
It's
before
going to
you
take
do
a
that,
couple hours to do it.
look, I trust you, but I don't trust this gator, so I would like to sing you a song. Gatorman, 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 Gatorman. That's all. And now you feel inspired, I think.
I sit down in the dirt and think about what my life has been up to this point in time, and what I did to arrive at this, and why do I deserve this? And I begin to fashion a disguise out of what was moments ago some living being's head.
With inspiration.
And make that roll at advantage.
I was gonna bless you, but or I was gonna guide you for this, but I can't give guidance to this. I can't do that.
1 second, I'm checking my sheet. Oh, is it performance or no? Is it just
It's just a straight dex, or no, it's dex plus proficiency.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Plus.
so dex plus
Inspiration.
proficiency, so that's 8 plus the 15 plus I rolled a 6. I'm very high for once.
So 18 plus...
29.
You know, if there was ever gonna be a good disguise, this is the one you want to be good.
So, Vandris takes about 30 minutes, I would say, in order to, like, he's taking his needle and his disguise kit and piercing through the flesh and fastening a makeshift hat. He takes the crook's coat and pulls it up, pulls some mesh fabric out of his disguise kit, puts it over.
When did I go from lovable scamp to Hannibal Lecter? This isn't even cool, man.
It's worth it.
And he arrives,
You'll get
and
over it.
after splashing a ton of whiskey on himself, any elfy scent he would have had is completely masked in A, dead crocodile, and B, whiskey. And you're seeing a shockingly, for 30 minutes and for what the plan was, a shockingly, and he puts some gloves on so you
Right.
can't see it, boots are on.
Oh, you have to make sure you attach his crocodile tail to your butt.
Oh yeah. We'll say Rhoda chopped that off and you attach the tail.
That was all part of the plan.
So the tail as well is attached. Rhoda chops that off. And you are seeing a
You
pretty
should show them in that camera.
a pretty
We have an image
decent
for you.
What the fuck is the neck?
It's just like that. Is it a
Oh,
frog?
it's like
Yeah.
incredible.
Terrible.
So you have a shockingly, it's very surprisingly convincing despite the situations here.
There's a lot of surprise coming from this.
Alright, I'm not making any more decisions from here on out. Someone start leading.
Well
I
done,
have
Ryan.
one more crazy idea, real quick. What if we do the What if we do the prisoner idea? But this time, the prisoner is me, and as myself, and he says he caught one of the people that what's his face is looking for,
Do all this
and
now.
maybe they'll take us up.
Tears in my eyes, and I contemplating decapitating Sylvie since I'm already in that mode.
No, because I'm saying, if he's like, I caught Sylvie, she's a member of that group that's been foiling us.
We don't want to
Well,
draw
literally-
attention to
literally
ourselves.
just the plan that we just explained. Literally.
Well, it was okay.
But
That's
no,
fine.
hold on. Now you can transform into one of those little crocodiles that's about your
Can
size.
I do a gecko instead?
No, just a crocodile. But
Okay.
one of those small orange ones. They're
Okay.
smaller, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm in a disguise kit where it looks like my head has been cut off and sewn onto. I'm just kidding.
She uses the hat of disguise to disguise herself as Vandris's disguise, but smaller.
What kind of roles do I need to secure myself?
You auto crit. Okay. Okay. So you're gonna disguise yourself as
as a child.
No,
a
child
small
or
one
a
of the
small-
One of the small ones.
Yeah, they're not
Oh,
children.
I thought they were
they're
children.
There are children there, but they're also smaller ones. They range
Okay.
basically from like a little bit bigger than a halfling to very
Perfect. Yeah, I'll do
So, like, you know,
gnome-sized one.
almost ogre size. So you shift into a 4 foot something orange crocodile. You'd seen a couple of these, like maybe one of the alchemist types that you had fought previously in Gullhaven, and you just looked spot on for that. And so then you're going to cast invisibility.
I am. I'm gonna
First-
cast it on the
first-
3 of them.
First, I hand Vandris the empty whiskey bottle so he could, as a prop.
I snatched it away angrily.
And
I don't even look at you.
I'm gonna take Venom Stone. I'm just gonna keep it on me, like in my belt.
Okay.
So it's not in the bag of holding.
Give me
Okay.
that goddamn rusty cutlass.
Sure, here's the rusty cutlet.
So you, Sylvie makes the rest of you invisible, and then for this, are you guys going to kind of emerge out of the river?
Yeah.
So for this, I'm going to need all of the stealth people to make a stealth check at advantage because you're invisible.
Oh, baby.
That's not great.
At advantage.
That just gets rid of my disadvantage. Because I have armor.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Shit.
Would I have known? I would have known that. So could I have given him inspiration beforehand?
That's fine.
So take a bardic inspiration.
Okay, that's a d6.
Are we
Yeah.
still in the Shmegarma? My thing, I can't remember the name of now.
No.
Pass it on
Why?
trace.
How long does that last?
It lasts an hour,
Long
so it'd
time.
still be up.
Yeah,
Technically, it's still up.
It'd still be up a few more minutes.
So I would say let's drop it so that we're not obviously.
That's
10.
Well, how
And
does it?
it's,
how does it
it's an
appear?
11
It's just
without.
like a shadow. I don't think it's gonna affect anything.
It's
Or
an 11 or 21 if that thing's still up.
So yeah, why don't we use it to
Okay.
get up into the town, and then maybe we can drop it and.
Okay.
come in.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got those.
Oh, did you get mine?
Was it? Was it?
2020.
With that, you make your way, a party of 5, appearing from the riverbank, as a medium-sized and small crocodilian pirate, shambling their way through the city. And I need you guys to just make a general deception check.
Some of you guys are shambling more than others, because some of you may be kind of an undead crocodile horror at this point.
13.
13?
26.
26.
Oh shit.
Okay. Well, you both have different DCs, obviously. So you start walking your way. Vandris, despite him having such a problem with this plan, he actually is walking and acting very convincingly like a crocodile person. So is Sylvie. She looks the part. You're walking your way through the city, and you don't really seem. No one's really turning to look at you. You hear voices and shouting as you've made your way into the streets of sand and dirt and wood, and then suddenly, from far off towards the looming volcano at the center of the island, erupts the sound of the dual, deep, guttural croaks that echo over the town. All of the crooks that you can see around you in the street stop for just a moment before hurrying around shouting at each other. King Graham's coming! King Graham's coming! Get to Zoki's perch! Get to Zoki's perch, hurry! And immediately, throngs of crooks are starting to rush through the streets. They're emptying out of the buildings, taking the streets, heading all in the same direction towards the town square, the town center. The energy is a mixture of excitement, but also fear. There's definite fear in the air.
Well, we better get to Zagi's perch. Let's go. King Crumb's coming.
Aye, let's go.
Aye.
All right. Or
So this,
I just follow. I don't.
Yeah, we're just following.
Yeah.
I have roughly an idea, so I just start heading that direction.
So
when we're invisible, like, can we can't see each other, right?
You
Like,
can't
we are
see each
just
other,
full on
no.
invisible.
I'd like all of you to make a perception check just real quick. Just as a group check.
That's
Natural 20. 25.
9.
8
this is
dice
a
jail.
5.
So you are making your way through Gangplank, and you make your way to the town. You actually see, as you're rounding a bend in the street, you see that there are two crooks that are walking away with seeming manacles and chains at their hips, and some are carrying them, coming from a direction from a street towards the left of where you're emptying out into the town square here. And so they seem to be, and they also seem to have large clubs, and you get the sense that they might be guards. And
Is anyone around us?
Assume a ton of lizard people.
yeah, so where are you guys? Are you guys going to stay to the side, be kind of in the throng of it? What are you guys going to be doing?
And the bag.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
would say
towards the
let's-
back, but part of it.
Yeah, we're
So-
definitely staying out of
Okay.
the way.
So
So
you.
I want to whisper in Vanders's ear. Look, and
And Sylvie, not hearing any of that, is just gonna charge tiny little lizard person, just charging forward.
and I
King
grab,
Crumb's coming!
I grab her. I reach through and I
She
grab
jolts
the
back,
note,
and there's nothing pulling her.
and I point at the crocodiles carrying the
Okay.
manacles. They're walking away from the
They're
circle.
walking away from the little back alley.
Aye. And I start walking in that direction.
Okay. So as you're walking, you're kind of keeping the side, trying not to bump into anybody. They're like, oh, I saw King Crumb's coming.
King
So-
Crumb's coming!
and what about he's gonna say? And
He's probably gonna say good stuff!
Hey, Lady Brivnik,
Oh.
that's right. She is a Fey Warlock and
Yeah.
your patron.
Oh, lady,
Hey,
welcome.
Titania.
Welcome to the stream.
Yes, welcome.
We
Yeah, thank
really
you for
appreciate
coming.
you.
We wanna see your art.
Yeah, Lady Titania of the Summer Court is her patron.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the Fey are awesome. We actually have a whole other campaign set in the Feywild. It's a whole lot of fun.
On
We
Mondays.
stream those on Mondays.
So as you're making your way, you feel like that this town square is holding many of the crooks of the town. It is packed, surrounding this massive perch in the center of the square. All of the bodies hanging there and rotting,
Ooh.
and some are like taking their swords and like trying to like hack off little bits and pieces, and just being relatively gross.
If I could reach, I'd get one too!
Perch while King Crab is flying down.
And it's very, very tightly packed, and then the voices start shouting, "King Cram the Cruel! King Cram the Cruel! King Cram the Cruel!" As you're making your way towards the back alley on the other side, there is a faint bit of moonlight that is coming down from the cloud cover that is able to pierce through. It's blocked by an enormous shape. It's a gargantuan two-headed vulture creature, flies overhead, and makes a single circle of Gullhaven, its beats of wings almost sounding like thunder, and sends violent winds coursing through the streets of the city. The crowd of crooks let out a huge cheer as it makes its circle and
How high up is he?
He is probably, he's like really high up in the air, so probably like, a couple hundred feet.
Okay.
It didn't show up.
What?
Thank you for whatever just happened. We heard the ding.
Oh,
Maybe a follow.
We
Yeah,
can't
I
see
think
it,
it's
but
straight up.
thank you.
Thank you. So there's a massive circle of crooks, just dozens and dozens and dozens of feet out surrounding this huge perch, and you're making your way towards the little back alley. Is that what you guys are doing?
I think that's the weird road I tried to pull us.
So real quick, the guys with the manacles, they were walking away from the crowd,
Yes.
toward to like as if they were to go maybe collect prisoners.
No,
Right, or no? Oh,
no, they were going.
They were coming
They were
back
going
from
into
where
the crowd to
prisoners were
see
held.
to go to the circle. Everyone was going.
Everyone's
to the circle.
heading towards the circle.
Okay,
So
so
we should position
we should
ourselves
continue
near them.
towards
basically just
where
keep
they came from.
keeping an eye on them and just like sort of hanging back, but basically staying with them in case they leave, so we can follow.
Okay.
But make a note of where they came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've made a note of where they came from. So like, let me just get a piece of paper here real quick. Just so
While
you
do
guys
that,
have
I'm gonna
full.
fix so we can see our fun notifications.
Yeah, the little ding 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 ding.
So
We have to do that.
So, basically the gist here is, and this is a really great drawing here. Oh, I can't see. Well,
Yeah.
Rich, can
which
you move the thing
Oh,
so I
sorry.
can see? Can you guys see it? Can you guys see this horrible diagram?
Yeah, we can see the
Yeah.
horrible diagram.
Yeah.
So basically,
looks
there
like a hairy
it's
ball
a
sack.
it's a hairy ball sack, and
I thought the same thing.
I really hate you guys.
Our GM
So-
No, I
the
give you a
town's-
little credit. I thought it was a weird hairy beholder because that little thing in the center is an eye.
It's got like an eye or maybe a tooth.
Got a big eye.
So just to
Little
give you
baby
a sense here.
Or a hairy
Zoom out a
ball.
little bit. Zoom out a little bit.
How do here we go. So just to give you a sense, this is the town center here. There's a bunch of buildings tightly packed around, but with streets and alleys going in. There'd be more streets than this. You guys probably came in down here from the south, and the guards were leaving from this general area, going into the throng, and then there's a massive swarm of crooks all around here, and there's a donut. It's a jelly donut.
So
And
we want to work our way towards where those guys came from, basically, and like hang out near that alley.
That's the question.
Was it clear if they came from a specific building?
You don't know right now, but you could try to like investigate while invisible to try to figure that out.
And what is the ground like?
The ground is a mixture of like clay and sand, and some of it is patched over with like wooden planks to make
Okay.
streets, but it's very very patched.
So
over
if
inside.
they came in from like a side street, there could be tracks that we could maybe follow.
Yeah, potentially, yeah,
If it wasn't not a very heavy
Sure.
distance.
yeah, that you definitely be able to.
I'm just saying we have someone who's invisible and also very good at tracking things.
So, right. So,
Yeah, but I feel kind of sick to my stomach right now.
Daniel, I swear to God, I will just end you.
I can't hear you through that crocodile head. I'm sorry.
so
King Creme the Cruel!
So while we're back, I'm grabbing everybody. Why don't you go? I'm going to my pirate voice. You guys go up to the circle so you don't draw attention to yourself, and the three of us will investigate where they came from to see if the prisoners are there.
Okay, don't forget.
Just stay in sight. Stay near here.
Don't forget because of the Rocky Talkies!
All right, I did forget. So thank you.
You're welcome!
So,
Thank
so
you,
the
Jim
three of
Mermaid.
you are heading off into the alley towards where the guards came from.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you are going to make your way out that way, and just for that, and then so the two of you are going to stand basically towards the back of this throng that is building up all
Still
around. and
keeping
they're all
eyes on
chanting.
those guards.
Yeah,
just
so they're
knowing
guards. So yeah, they go in and they kind of go into the throng, but you're able to kind of keep an eye on their heads as they make their way through the crowd. They go up a little bit further in there, but you are being able to keep an eye on them. You guys, hold on here real quick.
What's going on with this?
You just have to move it so it refocuses. That's all.
Oh yeah, sorry guys.
Like,
All right.
there you go.
It's probably trying to focus. Yeah.
There
The
you
hairy ball sack is what it's trying to.
Where's the ball sack? Says the
And
camera.
so,
It's awful.
so the while this is happening, you guys are going off. Well, I got cut off here a little bit. As the massive vulture starts to land onto the perch, its huge wings almost knocking the crooks off of their feet, but they seem to be used to this. They are holding their ground. And the entire crowd lets out a huge cacophonous cheer, and off of its back, this creature's back, dismounts a huge lumbering shape. And so you're gonna do a check for tracks?
Yeah. Kels, do you wanna?
Are you gonna do the three of them first?
So I'm just gonna kind of have them do the investigation, and then we'll go back. It's here. We'll just go back and forth here.
All right, I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee while you do that.
Okay, yeah.
We could assist Annulin in looking for tracks.
Okay.
Are you alright?
You really gotta be difficult.
I guess I could try.
I could too. My survival's not terrible,
I'm
but
gonna look around, but I'm not gonna do a good job about it.
Alright. Still roll with
Roll with
advantage.
advantage. Roll survival with advantage.
She's gonna lie about the number she gets just.
I rolled 2 ones.
Can't verify.
I forget what it is. Survival? What did you say?
Survival, yeah.
That is 22.
22. So you did a better job of it. It's actually pretty obvious, given how sloppy and the streets are built. Even where there are areas of wooden planks, there are cracks in between where feet are able to walk through, and then the ground is a little damped by being on the bank of this lagoon and having the river cut through it. And you are able to get a sense of the tracks of where those guards came from that goes to a building with iron bars on its window, and it seems to have some kind of iron lock on it. You're not really sure if it's locked or not, but you get a sense of where they came from. And as the massive figure, going back to the two of you, the firelight is centralized in the center of the city now, and the whole square can see King Krem the Cruel. Getting a better look at him than you did during the franticness of the assault on Goldhaven, you see that he's also a crocodilian lizard folk, but the biggest you've ever seen. He is dark green hide with a mottled yellowish underbelly, a huge snout with rows of razor-sharp teeth. His eyes are dark and red, and one seems to be nearly bulging out of his socket. While he indeed seems to have a muscular frame, he also has an enormous belly protruding from his fanciful captain's coat that you can tell, in order to fit his huge frame, had to be stitched together out of two jackets to fit his girth. Gleaming beneath on his belly and his chest seems to be a strange breastplate, from what you can tell, that occasionally catches the glints of the firelight and flashes in this weird multicolor hue. Atop his head is a huge wide-brimmed hat with a red band and an enormous giant black feather, which you could probably guess is from a giant vulture, pointing up towards the night sky. At each of his hips hangs a weapon. One appears to be a large curved cutlass with the skull of a crocodile adorned to its hilt and a bright green gem in the pommel, and the other is a strange contraption that you recognize from Vito's workshop and the one that he had tried to kill Amalia with. It is long, metallic, fans outwards to an opening covered in strange markings and a finely cut emerald fastened towards the back of it. It has a grip and a trigger similar to a crossbow, but nowhere to knock a bolt. He opens his mouth and he pulls out a strange cone looking thing of some kind, and as soon as he speaks, it reverberates almost magically amplified. You kind of remember a similar effect. He pulls it up to his snout, and it seems to amplify his voice, echoing through the city. You actually remember a similar effect as he was leaving Goldhaven.
Right.
Beautiful night, isn't it, my crooks? And all of the crooks erupt into laughter and cheers. A brave fancy toy Advisor Orpheus gave me, right? And then responding cheers. And then he gestures to all of the hanging... here, actually, let me change the music here. This is not very appropriate.
Yay!
I'm a little too happy.
Let's
huh?
have a dinner.
Yeah, I should have
Hey,
changed.
Hurricane.
Hi, Hurricane.
And yeah, lady,
We would love to see that.
We'd love to see
We
it.
would love.
And thanks,
So-
Lead Dog, for following. That was the blue bloop earlier.
Oh,
so
thank you.
thank
Nice.
you, Lead Dog.
You guys are great. He points to all of the corpses hanging on the posts. It looks like a little display is quite popular, eh, lads? I think the traitors might now be ripe enough for Zaki. And he points up to
his vulture creature whose two heads are looking, surveying the crowd, particularly lingering on the rotting corpses that are hanging up. You can see very faint crackles of lightning at the sides of each of their beaks. And it says, "What do you think, girl? Have a little snack." And immediately the vulture lunges forward with its two heads to the closest of the children of the sea cultist. The one that looks particularly disgusting and bloated. It is snatched from its post, and the two heads seem to fight over it before tearing it in half and swallowing each of its portions whole. Now, no need to fight over it. There are plenty more where that came from, thanks to you lot. And he points out to the crowd, and the crowd once again erupts into cheers. And you hunted down the treacherous lackeys of the sea bitch with ruthlessness and cruelty that even I couldn't compete with. And they paid for crossing the greatest pirate what ever lived. And so will anyone that stabs me in the back, as you will see at dawn. And another huge round of applause.
And we heard all that?
You're able to hear all
Sylvie is
that.
like
Okay.
literally convinced at this. She is like, I
She's-
love him.
she's on board.
He is so
Charismatic
charismatic.
leader. And he stops and he's like, "Oh, hold on. I know." And you can start to see the bulging eyes starting to twitch and bulge as this sense of anger and hatred wells up in him. Sorry. "I know that there are some here, our own flesh and blood, who are not happy with the direction of the crew. Boo!
Kill the unhappy.
Everyone's booing.
Kill the
Everyone's
unhappy.
like thrashing and gnashing their jaws. Not happy with me taking on my trusted advisor Orpheus. Another round of boos.
Kill them all.
Not happy with us having a vision for the future and abandoning those old ways.
Abandon the old way.
Thank you. I don't want to have to stop. You just do that for me. Well, I can tell you that every single one of you with that little inkling will die in the most horrific way imaginable.
You're gonna die. You're all gonna die.
As you'll see at dawn when we execute just one of the leaders of this little mutiny, along with the last of the little sea bitches priests, and that fishmonger girl that didn't manage to get drowned. It
Well, it sounds like we care about exactly one of these three prisoners.
will be brutal.
Brutal.
It will be bloody.
Bloody.
And it will serve as a reminder to all those who is the king of this island.
King Crown the Cruel.
And the rest of the crooks are about as excited as Sylvie is celebrating. And says, okay. Now that all the pleasantries are out of the way, I have an announcement. Everyone turns to look at you. And they're like, awkward. Oh, jeez.
It's inappropriate.
Advisor Orpheus has been hard at work to give us the tools not just to rule Goldhaven or any other human city, but all the coast in the world. He has promised me that personally, and you all have seen what he's capable of.
From wherever we are at this point, I roll my eyes because, that's definitely what Orpheus is gonna do.
Jockey's egg is close to hatching, and mining foreman Melancholia tells me she will have his quota completed very soon. Then there will be no more squatting in swamps like animals and beasties. We will live the high life like gods. More erupting in cheers. Now, before I return to my keep, I want to up the bounty. You sniff out a traitorous coward among us, and you'll be awarded with 250 gold pieces each. And then he says, well, get to it then. And then the entire crowd erupts even louder than before as he heaves his girth back up on top of Zaki, and the vulture starts beating its wings. Once again, the wind howls, and almost like the cracks of thunder as it beats its wings, and it takes off into the sky, makes another circle all the way around Goalhaven, and flies back towards the keep. So, with that,
it's a bit scary.
What does the crowd start to do?
the crowd, as soon as they're watching, they're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get the bounty! No, I'm gonna get! Oh, I think Jeffrey down the street is a traitor!" and they're
Hopefully they all just start murdering each other.
Sylvie's like randomly.
I think Jeffrey's a traitor too. I heard he was seeing some traitorous shit.
And so you're egging them on. People are starting
With the country accent.
Whatever.
The crooks are starting to talk animatedly about this bounty, and they are getting excited, and they're talking about Foreman Melancholia in the mines of Melancholia, as they're saying, and the work that they've been doing for months. And some are very excited about what Orpheus has in store for them, and that they're so excited to live like gods and kings and live the high life. And they're really committed. And then you do notice a couple in the crowd that don't seem to be as excited about it. And so, what were you guys doing during that whole time?
We were investigating the prison, trying to get. I think we were trying to get in.
Okay, make an investigation check.
I think I would look around, see if you said there are barred windows.
Yeah, there are iron bars in the window.
I would want to see if we can look through the windows and see who's inside.
So you look in, and there's a small little entrance room, and it seems to have stairs downwards with just a closed wooden door, basic wooden door. Almost looks like it was torn off of like a cabin somewhere in a ship.
Okay.
No one inside.
I rolled a 9.
9 for what?
Investigation.
You basically get the sense that the lock is fastened. It's locked.
I would like to just in between one of the big would that wouldn't break invisibility, would it?
What?
Attacking breaking a lock with a action.
Any attack breaks invisibility.
Any attack, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Would that be an attack?
I mean, once we break the door, I don't think it's going to matter. They're going to know something's up.
But if we're still invisible. What if I tried to leverage the door open? Would that be an attack?
Like making athletics. I don't know. I think that would probably drop invisibility, right? Is there anyone in the chat? Misaki, do you know?
I think so.
I would.
Can you read the wording of invisibility? Just so we
Yes.
Rodek with impunity.
Yes, I can, because that is a
Can
spell
you
that I
describe the
have.
building again, just briefly?
Oh, the building that you see is similar to the others in that you've seen in Gangplank, and it's patched together. Out of this one seems to be like a mid-sized trading ship, but a door and windows were kind of hacked out of it. There's iron bars in all the windows, and then there is a heavy wooden door, but it has an iron lock.
Wait a second. If these
Oh.
buildings were all made with aerial travel in mind, should we check the roof to see if there's an opening up there?
That's what I was thinking, like what the roof is made of.
So,
Good idea.
On D&D Beyond, this is what it says. A creature you touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything the target is wearing or carrying is invisible as long as it is on the target's person. The spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell. At higher levels, you can do it to more people.
Okay, so that would kind of be an attack.
I think that would be. I think that probably bashing open a door would be.
Because it doesn't say anything about who attacks an enemy, it just says who attacks or casts a spell.
So,
So, like, I could literally, cast any other spell,
Yeah.
and my invisibility would go away if I were invisible.
Well, I like that idea.
yeah, I think we try to get on the roof. At least Daniel, she can definitely get up there.
Okay.
I do an elfie launch onto the roof.
Okay. So you're going to scale. Can I just get I think probably an athletics check. Actually, no. You can probably acrobatics it up. You could parkour up there.
$23.
23.
Yeah.
Keeping your invisibility, you are effortlessly leaping off of bits and mass heads and things that have been tied into or fastened into these buildings, and you get up to the top. There aren't any vultures there currently, but you see the rows of buildings with roofs. You do see that there is a flat landing platform with 3 different perches for vultures, as well as a few buckets of rotting flesh. You assume to feed them, and you see a little hatch at the top that seems to go into the building.
Okay, does it have any kind of lock on it or anything?
You can make an investigation check real quick. This isn't.
That was a 9.
9. You reach down and you grow to grab the hatch, and it seems to budge up a little bit as soon as, depending on how stealthy you want to be, but it seems to give way as you try to pull up on it.
And we saw nobody through the bars, correct?
Correct.
Is this like could I, from where I am on the roof, like what's the story level? Like, did I have to like go up a second story where we were looking into the first, or like how?
This is a 2-story building. So it's a 2-story building, and then the little perch on the top.
I would say we try to get up there.
I'm going to quietly and slowly open the hatch a little, enough to see through.
Okay. You just make another stealth check just for this exact encounter.
With advantage, or?
I'm just at regular.
With advantage because you're invisible.
This is very good. 17.
17. You manage to stealthily lift open this hatch, and you see that there is a makeshift ladder that goes down into a small room. There is a little torch that's hanging from the wall, and there seems to be a little chest and a strange-looking. It's a bed, but it's really just a big pile of leaves and basically leaves and underbrush piled into this wooden frame that seems to be where you guess that one of these creatures might sleep. And there is a little, there is just a single room on top with stairs going downwards with another wooden door at the end of these stairs.
Okay. Do I think the hatch is big enough that Rhoda and Ganji could get through?
Yeah, I mean it's big enough for you. Also have to keep in mind that that these crooks range from like the smaller, but they're also very very large ones, like almost as big as an ogre. So a lot of that is built with them in mind.
Okay. I'm going to go back down to them so I'm not shouting and tell them about the hatch and see if they want to come up or if I should try to find a key and unlock it from the inside.
I can climb.
I can go.
Let's might it. Yeah, we might as well.
Okay.
We'll join you.
Remember, you guys have Rocky Talkies, just stuff.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I thought about it. But...
I'll just say.
Right on Rocky Talkie.
So can I? If I'm just crawling straight up, I can do athletics.
Yeah.
I got a 10.
21.
Rodek manages to make his way up there. Ganji, unfortunately, he tries to climb. You clatter down. No one really seems to notice though, but you weren't able to make it up there.
Drop Rocky Talkie. Drop a rope.
Oh, right. Okay, as long as I'm holding it, it's invisible.
Holding
right?
it's invisible, yeah.
I grab out of my pack and I'll just drop rope.
Drop
while
it
holding
straight on
He
me.
feels
so,
it,
yeah.
and he grabs it, and then you can just climb up a rope. You don't need to make a check, right? I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
You climb. You just climb.
Holding
the
it the
rope.
whole time.
Yeah,
just
you're
kind of
holding
supporting
it.
him.
He's very heavy, but you're very strong. So you manage
works out.
to hold it
not
up
bad.
there. And at this point, Vandris and Sylvie, the crowd is kind of congregating, and they're starting to filter back. King Krem has finished his speech at this point, and you start to see the guards making their way back towards the direction that they came.
I'm gonna tug on his the outfit he took from the dead alligator, and motion my head over that way, and kind of give him a look to see if he wants to follow.
Aye.
Let's head off into the corner and do some nefarious shit.
Aye.
Aye, Dean Crumb the Cruel.
So, with that, you follow both of them. These seem to be about standard medium build. They're each armed with some kind of sword at their side, and they're heading back into the direction that these three went off. And they are turning the corner back into the alley, and I guess you guys want to know, but like where they are up, and they're just making their way heading in the direction of the prison that you get the sense of.
So we can't see them, right? Did they drop invisibility?
No.
Or are they still... Okay, so we can't see them. We don't know where they are.
You could ask us with rock talk.
Yeah, but I'm saying like we can't visibly
Yeah,
see.
correct.
We
cannot
know
see.
where we're going, but we don't see.
Yes.
So what does the outside look like? I mean, like, is there any immediate danger that we have to be aware of, or can we just like waltz into the,
I mean, there's a bunch of crooks kind of walking in and out of the street. There's an energy in the air. There's a little bit of excitement. People are excited about the prospect of the bounties, and they're like kind of whispering about like who they think might be trying to aid the mutiny, and but really there doesn't seem to be any kind of like danger. No one's like trying to kill you or anything. But you do see that these two guards are walking basically towards this building, and they're arriving at the front of it.
Okay, what do they? I kind of want to just watch and see what they do. Like if they post up or if they go in.
So you see them. One takes a large iron key out of its pack, or its a little satchel, and it unlocks the lock, locks it inside, and then they both sit in two stools, one at either window, inside that little entry room, kind of keeping an eye out on the door that they're sitting behind, but also out of each of the windows on the sides of these doors.
So what would we have been doing while they were coming in?
So that was kind of simultaneous. So you can. What are you guys doing?
So I think we jumped down in the hatch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then checking slowly through. So we're in the room, and there's stairs leading down.
Yeah. There's room. There's nothing in the room except for the bed, a little chest, and then the stairs that are going to a door that is closed.
Did we hear them come in?
When you're in there, you do hear as the door opens and slams in front of you. It's coming past the door where these little stairs go down to.
Does it sound like they're right outside the door?
No. Sounds like they're off to the right.
Okay. So I whisper, "Let's go down." So there's a chest though, right?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
check the chest.
I was gonna check the chest, especially for keys.
Yeah.
You open the chest. It doesn't have any kind of lock or anything on it, and it really just has like bits of. You do find probably 25 gold pieces, and you find a couple bits and scraps of like not letters or anything, but like bits of hide and some strange writings have been written on. But nothing really like a key or anything.
Okay. And nothing like hanging out.
And nothing hanging out, and then some extra sets of manacles and balls and chains and
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
In there as well.
So.
And nothing else in the room? Did we like search around and everything?
No, it seems to really just be kind of a place for storage and a bed.
Okay.
So why don't we sneak down the stairs and like listen to see if we can hear anything right outside the door?
Okay.
I thought they were in here. I'm
what?
confused about this.
We're on the second floor, right? And they're on
Are
the.
they on the first floor?
Yes.
So we're all in the same building. They're on the first floor. We're in some little room on the top floor with stairs down, but allegedly not into this room that they're sitting in currently.
There's a door right at the foot of the stairs that's closed after a little landing.
Got it. Okay.
And not to be too video gamey about this, but is there a keyhole in the door that we can look through?
Yeah, I guess there would be. Yeah, there's a keyhole.
Look through the keyhole. See what I
You
see
look.
if I see
You look through the keyhole, and from what you can see, that there is a flickering candle or torch or lantern light on this wooden building, and it seems to be the landing. So if you remember, you looked through the iron bars, and there was the two stools, and the stairs going down, the landing, and the door. The door is to the left of that door that's going further into the prison. So basically, there's a door to your left, and then stairs going up to your right. Basically, is what you're seeing. And then it's basically it's a 10-foot hallway, or maybe not quite 10 feet, but.
I think we're good. Okay, I try to open the door.
Okay. But you do know that people came in and so you are hearing voices as the two guards that are sitting right out front in that same chamber are talking.
Oh, so they're in the chamber that we're looking at.
Yeah. So here, hold on. I just think I can reveal this map here.
Oh, wow, we got a map and everything, huh?
So. Oh shit. Well, whatever. So basically, the door is right here.
Use the camera.
Okay. So I didn't draw this all out, but basically, you guys came to a door right here. The two guards are sitting right about here, and then these are the stairs down. So main door to the prison, little room with stools. Two crooks are sitting here, and then a door down here, and then you guys are down there.
So they're not in the room that we're looking at.
So they are. There is no door. This is all part of the same chamber. The stairwell and the little sitting room are all part of the same area, with a door here, and then the door externally there.
So the stairs up are right here, and stairs to the second floor here, which is where we are. And then these are the stairs.
These are
down.
stairs to the
Okay, so we're right here.
Yes.
Looking at them that way.
Yes.
And I don't know. I guess we don't know which way they're facing. Does it? Well, okay. Does it sound like they're facing us or away from us?
Perception check.
23.
You get the sense that from the way that it's reverberating, they're commenting on the window, on what's going on in the street outside. So you're probably getting the guess that they're looking outside and keeping an eye on the door that they're guarding. They're not really expecting anyone to come in from the top.
All right. So they're facing away from us right now.
Yep. Okay. Vanders and Silly, what are you doing?
So where are we in relation to the entrance?
It depends on if you guys were hanging out about kind of 20 feet, kind of lean in, looking just kind of like a tough
against the
pirate
wall.
guy
I'm
against a
looking
tough
at
wall.
Avantris. I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
I bet old Tom the traitorous is traitorous.
I look to Sylvia and I say, "Oh, we should go check out them prisoners."
Yeah, I think we should go at least tell the guards that Tom the traitorous is a traitor and find out if we can get some gold out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You better let him know that you're Vic the Vicious and I'm Nick the Nasty.
Got it, Vic and Nick. We got it.
Vic and Nick, let's go do this.
Bash brothers here. Let's go.
Yeah,
We got
let's
this.
do this. You might have to lift me up to talk to him if they're in the window because I'm a small lizard.
We should walk right in the front door.
We should just try and park
Okay.
right
Meanwhile, Ganji and sorry, I don't know why I said my name. Rodek and I and Anulin are talking about possibly casting a silence spell, as a ritual to silence them, and then we bum rush them and kill them while they can't shout for help or anything.
Okay.
So I'm going, and Anulin, does that sound okay to you? We're just whispering about it right now.
I think that sounds fine. I was gonna also say maybe we should, do Beatrice and Sylvia don't know that we're inside, do they?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to. Beatrice, Sylvia, can you guys hear me?
Nick the Nasty, coming in hot.
You get the call right before you're about to enter, so you're able to stop yourself in the street and kind of talk you off into the side.
So I'm gonna start casting the spell while we do this.
Okay, so you're doing a 10-minute channel? Okay.
Rhoda, Ganji, I think somebody has gotten Sylvie and Vandris. Somebody weird answered the rock.
Nick the Nasty, I'm a little busy. Call me back later.
Given that I think I've heard that horrible man voice before, I think that's probably Sylvie roleplaying.
I mean, it is a little bit, but Nick the Nasty, coming in.
Coming in hot.
And bothered.
Now, you guys just hold on out there. We'll open the door.
Out where? What are you talking about?
We'll open the door. Wait, well,
You guys have no idea where
are
we're
you?
at.
I assume that you're out in the street somewhere.
The prison.
Yeah, see, Vic and I, we've got a plan, and we're a little busy, so we'll talk to you later.
No. Hold on.
You ready to go, Vic?
You just wait.
I'm ready.
If I could polymorph him, I would, but he's not within touch range, so.
Okay, so
I'm gonna keep
We're gonna
casting, but
attempt to-
I'm waiting for Ganji's word on when he's done.
We're gonna attempt to rush
To
in.
cast that.
I could cast it in an action, but I can also do it as a ritual, which doesn't cost a spell slot. So I'm just gonna do that for now. But if
10
shit,
minutes.
if shit goes crazy, I can stop it and just cast it normally.
All right, Vic, you get the
Make
door. I'll
shit not
follow.
go crazy. You should
All right, Nick, here we go. Let's see what's going on.
Let's
Vic.
do this. Let's
Hey,
do
you
this.
two. How's the prison looking?
Excuse me. We know of a traitorous traitor.
So you open the door, it is not locked because there are two people. And then he's like, "Hey, what's your business
I
here?"
stumble in. I'm like, we got a traitor for you.
Hey, yeah, we were looking for
Tom!
traitors and all, so we wanted to come harass the prisoners.
Tom the traitor, and I wanted to piss on one of the prisoners. Can I piss on
Yeah,
one?
you get him, Nick.
Yeah, I'm gonna piss on him, Vic.
Are you
Get the cool.
Are you saying you knows a traitor?
Yeah, but we want to piss on the ones you got in prison, so we can then tell you about the ones that should be in prison.
No, not these prisons. What was that?
I said, Nick's got it.
No, not these prisoners. These are the ones we're executing at dawn. So he's on what's preventing anyone from getting in.
Yeah, we just figured we'd come harass him a little bit.
We just wanted to piss on him.
We got plenty of lads in there harassing them already. It's what we do as guards. What do you think we're doing? You're not harassing anybody.
You figured you was in your... I thought you was scratching your balls because you're not pissing on him, that's for sure. Voice obviously...
Stop worrying me with all the piss talk. Let's just tone it down a little.
Isn't that what you do when you hate a prisoner? You just piss all over him?
Nick didn't make it through guard academy.
Yeah, they turned me down. I wanted to be a guard, but I was too small, they says. Bullshit, I could do what you're doing. I'd be pissing all over them prisoners.
What time are you taking these prisoners out to be executed?
Can we piss on them on the way?
Well, King Grant, we're taking them out right before dawn. Then we're just gonna brutally murder them. It's what we do.
So,
Alright, so we got some time to get in there and do our own thing.
Vic and I got a question for you. If we know that Tom the traitor is a traitorous, treacherous bastard. I couldn't think of anything that rhymed with T. Do we kill him first and bring him in, or do we just bring him in and let you do whatever you do to him?
What we've got is to execute them for the display. Everyone knows they gotta be displayed up.
Yeah, but
prisoners preferably.
We want the bounty.
I don't even care about the bounty. I just want to kill him.
Are you
That's very
saying?
noble, Nick.
Both of you make a persuasion check. Just
14?
Oh no, that wasn't bad. I got 21.
21. Okay.
Jesus.
The other one besides him leans in and says, "Are you saying you knows a traitor in the area?"
It's in his name. Tom the traitor.
We want a bounty.
Well, do you have him there?
Well, that's
No,
why we came.
Check for protocol before we just bring him in.
We don't want to waste your time. You're obviously working really hard.
Well, why don't, are you saying, do you know where this Tom lives?
We do.
No, we're not gonna tell you. We're not gonna get you have all
I
bounty.
mean, we were not going to tell you.
Well, then if that's the
Pray
case,
for Genji to hurry up.
if you're not willing to divulge information, I don't know what you want us to do.
We're literally asking you if we can, 1, piss on your traitors,
No.
and 2, I'm telling you I've had a nick a hooch, and I'm roughing up for a fight, and I want to know, can I kill Tom and bring in his dead body and still gives
Okay.
me some coin?
So I can't actually say anything because I'm channeling the spell, but I'm like trying to will with my mind for them to convince one that the other one is a traitor. I'm like trying to will that telepathically through
No metagaming.
magic shit.
Punish mark. Cool.
So I either want to piss on the traitor, or I'm sorry, I mean I do, but I either want to piss on one of the guys that's gonna be fed to that bird tomorrow, or I've had a nick a hooch and I'm looking for a fight, so I either want to kill Tom, bring in his dead body, piss on it, get gold, or if I have to bring him in alive, I'll do that instead. So I'm looking for information. Do you want him dead or alive?
We want
Why?
him
You better
alive.
watch it, cause Nick will piss on you if you don't let Nick do her thing.
Yeah.
Well, frankly, I'm not very afraid of yous, but if yous wants to have a traitor and you have a tip, you bring him in alive, then there needs to be questioned and then publicly executed.
Why would you
and
question?
displayed.
Why would you question? Why would you?
Because they might know where the other traitors are in that wooden chains.
Actually, that's really smart. I had too much hooch.
You
Or I would've
obviously
thought
didn't go to
that
God
myself.
Academy. You didn't watch the film Police Academy
I
2.
failed it. I fell asleep during it. I had to take a big piss.
I think you need to get your prostate checked.
Well, I'm a chick, so I think that's gonna be tough.
I think
Am
you
I
might
right,
have
Vic?
an infection. You might need to get a little something checked with that.
Chick
All right.
Nick.
All right. Chick Nick out.
Laura, listen. We still want to see the prisoners. I think it's fair that we get a turn roughing them up a bit.
No, that's not how it works. I don't know where Hughes comes from.
What do you gotta do to rough him up? I'm feeling riled up from King Crim's speech, and I wanna rough him up. What do you gotta do to rough him up? Who do you gotta talk to around here? Who do you gotta pay? You want some gold? I got 300 gold for you, just to piss on them traitors.
It's like so off the rails.
Has it been 10 minutes yet?
Yeah, it's been 10 minutes
We're
yet.
just trying to keep busy.
300 gold, you say?
Yeah, 'cause a piss on them and I bring in Tom, I'm up 50 gold.
Make it 500 gold.
Oh shit. Let's make it 250 and I got you a deal.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Boy, 250's less than 500.
15.
I believe we'll be taking, if you want to rush up these people so much, you got the coin, you know how to do it. I won't tell nobody, right? Oh, yeah, we won't tell nobody.
Alright, I'm gonna pass him 250 gold.
500, 250 each?
Well, we can do half now, half later.
No, it's not how this works.
I'm gonna start pulling my coin back towards me. I'm like, Wonder how King Crim would
10 minutes to this story.
Wonder how King Crim would feel knowing that they're not letting people piss on the prisoners.
Alright,
Hey, wait, hold on a second. Why is you be able to talk without your mouth moving?
And as soon as that happens, silence goes off.
Said, go, go, go.
Burst the door open. I'm gonna burst the door open, and whilst invisible, I want to aim for his neck.
Yeah.
The closest
And
one. to
I'm going with a hammer.
So
to
I guess this one, right?
I'm going to with a hammer to the other one.
As soon as he says that, whoosh, the silence goes over the.
And you see Nick going,
all of them, and so it's all over here. You can't. Nothing can be heard through the door, right? Isn't that how silence works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
nothing within the 20
Okay.
20-foot radius can make
Okay,
sound.
so nothing in this room basically can be heard.
Yeah.
The door, you see the door fly open as immediately Rodek's form kind of is half out of invisibility, fully drops. He goes to the left, Ganji goes to the right. They're both bringing their weapon. You're going to roll at advantage because you're unseen.
I would like to make a power attack, please.
And it's always 10 minutes of Silver trying to piss on captives.
18, 19, 20, 21.
Once a session.
21 hits.
That's like a 23 for me.
23 also hits.
12.
Just trying to think if this combat's happening.
That's a 13 for me.
It's a 27 damage for me.
27 damage. And so this is. We're just going to resolve this real quick. Hold on. 1, 2. 13 for you?
Yeah.
13 for Ganji on. Wait, what's number one? Ganji's on number 1. 13. 20 what?
27.
27. They look with complete surprise as a dragonborn and a dwarf appear behind them and cleave their weapons into them. Both of them are still survive. One has an axe in its chest, and the other one is, you see teeth start flying as blood splatters on the wall. And they're like, and they're both reaching for their swords. I need everyone to roll for initiative here. What are you guys doing about the Oh, the door is shut behind you, I guess.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing about like the window and all of that?
What do you mean?
These windows are open. They can't hear anything, but you can still be seen. I'd say it's so fast.
Are there shades or anything, or?
I don't think we did anything.
No, I don't think we did.
Do it. Move on. Get out.
Yeah, just kill these guys.
Get in. Get out.
I don't think we did anything with the windows.
Yeah, we didn't think about it as a party, so.
Yeah.
I also don't think the prison would have like drapes that we could pull down.
Okay.
I got
13 for initiative.
I got a 12 for initiative.
15.
Where's my little box?
I got a 22.
Nice.
Where the fuck is my little coupon box?
I don't know.
Well, for, I'll go find
How
that.
low are these
I don't know
windows
how
to the
else
to
it's
the?
classed,
what?
You might have to
Are these
back
windows
up.
They're
low?
like high. They're probably about like
If it has,
chest
it
height.
has a verbal.
So like they're kind of up. You'd have to like go and like look in to see.
No, I would say you'd be able to, you'd have to, like, it was dark and probably off to the side where you have to like, actually go and peer to see what's going on in them. And they're iron bars, but I think that, like, someone, if they looked in, would be able to see. So, what was it, 20 to 25?
It's also night out too, right?
Yeah.
Nikki got a 20.
22.
I got a 23.
Okay. Annulin, Sylvie. Okay, 15 to 20.
15.
Okay. Vandris, what did you get?
13.
13, Ganji.
12.
And so I don't have my initiative card right now. I think they're upstairs, so I'll just do this real quick. Okay, and then the guards are last. Okay, and so we'll just start at the top of the round. Sylvie, what are you doing?
Do I, in this moment, would I realize that silence has been cast?
Yes.
Okay. Can I... Fuck.
Hmm?
How would I go about moving out of the silence? Like, where would I have to go to move out of the silence?
Well, okay, so I cast it. So it's
in. You have to go outside, open the door, and go outside of the room, or go.
They're still outside, right?
No, we're
No, they're-
inside with the guards.
They went inside with the
Oh
guards.
shit. Okay.
So basically, the whole room.
Talking
So
to them this whole time.
I think the whole idea is that you didn't want people to be hearing you murdering these people inside the room or outside on the street. So that whole container is silenced.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to take the dodge action.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's wise.
That's okay.
As soon as you're cursing, you're just dodging, getting ready to go.
Is Eldritch Blast?
Everything
Verbal.
I have is verbal.
Really? Oh wow.
Which is fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
I don't think it's gonna take us long to kill these guys.
Okay.
You will kind of want to maintain your
I
distance.
don't need my voice to piss on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Rhoda.
True.
I'm
Thanks,
first.
Vic.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I will make.
Oh no, Annulin. Sorry, Annulin.
Okay, I'm going to make 2 arrow attacks, just one at each of them.
Okay. Annulin was first anyway, I guess.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I got 2
No, no.
26.
Well, I didn't do
Both
anything.
hit.
so-
Both hit.
Which one looks more?
The one on the Rhoda
This one.
spy. Number 2 looks more hurt.
Okay. I'm gonna give him the old Colossus. So 20 damage to him.
20 damage to number 2, the more damage one.
Yeah.
As soon as he's going to reach for a sword after being the axe in the chest from Rodak, you just send a very quick arrow right into his skull. He collapses onto his stool.
And then 10 damage to the other.
10 damage together. He is still alive as your arrow sinks into the side of his chest.
And then if I wanted afterwards to run to the like, if I wanted to take the torch off the wall and like throw it to the ground to like put it out, would that be an action?
I think throwing it on the ground would be like a free objects interaction that you have. But, like, what are you trying to do again?
Just trying to
I still just
extinguish
want
the
to
light.
move to the torch on the wall and like just put like toss it on the ground so it goes out. Yeah.
I think that would be a free object interaction. Yes, you could do that.
Okay, so I'll do that at the end of my turn.
Okay, so you do that and snuff it out. The room goes dark now because of that, and I just want you and Ganji to both make stealth checks, just for like that whole
Going for
situation.
attack.
Oh, I do have another attack. I'm sorry.
Oh, you
I forgot
do,
about
yeah.
that.
Well, you did 10 arrows.
So,
You did damage to both
yeah,
of them.
that is. I have 2
Yeah.
arrows.
Yeah.
That's my 1 attack, 2 attack. Right?
Yeah, you attacked twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
Okay.
it was
You only did the 1 damage to the 1.
No, she
Yeah.
finished the
Yeah.
scale off into 10 damage to this guy.
the stealth was 8.
8.
17.
Okay. Okay. And with that, the the torch snuffs out. Sylvie takes the dodge action. Rodek, what are you gonna do?
Or actually, I can use my dagger, right?
Yeah, you can pull out your
So
dagger.
I can. I'm gonna stab him with my dagger, like shaking my junk while I do
Roll
it.
damage.
The fake junk that I have in my lizard pants. I actually don't know what daggers do because I don't think that they're on here.
Oh, it's 1d4.
Okay, perfect.
You gotta roll
Yeah.
add your dex.
Yeah, I just wanted to. So,
Roll.
Yeah,
Add your,
daggers
add your
are
dex
1d4
plus
plus
proficiency.
so 14.
17, 20.
Hits.
Okay, perfect. And then it's
1d4 plus your dex mod.
So 7.
Nice.
7 hot damages with my little.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
So,
like shaking my junk
so
out.
as soon as the arrow goes in his side, you follow up this little shambling little orange crocodile, pulls it and stabs. And he looks very, very, very weak.
I'm like mouthing the words like, should have taken 2.
He has an arrow in him. He's clutching both of his wounds, and he's the one that's like missing teeth. It's horrific. And then finally is Rhoda.
I would like to coup de grace this poor soul. 19.
19. That hits. Roll damage.
15.
You chop his head off. Your axe cleaves into the back of the wood. Blood splatters everywhere, and it clatters to the ground.
Hey, another disguise.
It's very dark, and you look out, and it seems like.
Can I?
yeah.
Sorry, can
Go
I
ahead.
do something really
Yeah.
quickly? So, seeing what happened, how close, and I'm like right between the two of them, right? Because I just like stabbed the
Yes.
guy.
Yeah, you're right here.
So on my action, because I can tell Lumi what to do, I want to have her go to Annulin because I would like to, at any sign of anything weird going on, I'd like to use her to touch Annulin and cast invisibility on all 3 of them again, should I need to.
Okay. Okay. So you communicate that telepathically to Lumi. She zips down and is ready by Annulin's side. But after this whole situation, things are starting to quiet down a little bit. You realize that you're kind of getting the sense that all of the crooks are so distracted by their own lust for gold, and a lot of them are probably very drunk at this point, that no one really noticed you. And thanks to the quick torch extinguishing from Annulin there.
Alright.
Good on him, Annie!
I dismiss silence.
Okay.
Well, even though I'm like...
Sound returns to the room. There's really nothing more than the hissing of the extinguished torch, and just your breathing.
Is there a corner of the room that's out of view of the windows?
Down the stairs would be. There's a little alcove by where the door was.
Okay, so I want to drag their bodies
Whoa,
to be down.
Whoa! Hey, random guy. This is Vic. I'm Nick. Vic the
both are
Vicious.
wonderful.
Nick the Nasty. You want to do something gross? Let's string their bodies up in those chairs so it looks like they're sitting at these windows and people aren't thinking anything's funny in this building. You got what I'm saying?
I don't.
I was just gonna suggest that you and Vic take the post for now, and then.
Boy, first I'm gonna need to get my venom spine back from old Rodek.
I'm gonna go grab.
Wow, you're very knowledgeable about our inventories. That's okay.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Hold on a sec.
It's Sylvie, guys.
Oh, of course.
You couldn't
Oh,
tell
you're
because
so convincing.
I know. I make the absolute best tiny little alligator. Did you hear the things I was saying to him before you silenced me? And did you see the way I stabbed him in his gut because he wouldn't let me piss on some prisoners?
I did.
It was
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
And it was.
Thank you.
It's a miracle we're still alive, but.
I know because
So if we're going to
what?
take up the post here and prevent people from going down these steps while you investigate, is that what we want to do?
I believe it has.
Yeah, if you stay here and people look through the window to see if anyone's on guard duty, they'll see 2 crocodile faces, and I guess that's pretty good.
Just hurry. This flesh is starting to smell.
All right. Well, here you go. Good luck. So I passed Venom Spine back. Lady Brynvolk, her familiar is
I literally
a.
just typed it out.
Okay, never mind. She typed it out. It should be appearing in chat
Maybe.
shortly. Maybe.
Maybe.
Did it not?
I guess not.
You can say it.
Yeah. So her familiar is a pixie, which is a
Homebrew.
homebrewed kind of like a Sprite.
It's basically
type
like a
thing.
mix between like the Sprite and the
Yeah.
Sprite and
Yeah. Right.
It's mostly a reskin though,
So,
with a few.
Yeah.
things.
So pixies exist kind of in D&D and 4e and stuff. So it's homebrewed for 5e.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what did I miss? I missed anything? Sorry about that. I did my initiative cards.
Nick and Vic are gonna guard the stairs while the rest of the crew goes down the steps to investigate, I believe.
Yep.
And I guess we can relight that torch. to make it appear that nothing is unusual.
Right? Might as well.
Okay.
Oi!
You relight the torch. You fasten it back on the wall, and 2 new guards are sitting there, but you don't get the sense that anyone really cares that much.
Oi, Nick, make sure you recover that gold you gave them.
I didn't give it to him. He tried to
Okay,
up the ante to 500. How do you like me accent? Am I doing it well?
Yeah, you sometimes it sounds like
I honestly don't know how to do it, so I'm just making up words as I go and voices
That's
and
okay,
things.
it's great.
Why don't you guys act as like quiet guards?
Don't tell me what you think, Rodak. Ain't nobody cares. I'm a polymorph
Let's
here.
start.
You don't get named Vic the Vicious by being quiet.
What, you think your name is Rick the Raccoon?
Just get going, you lot.
Get out.
Hold on. So I start walking down the stairs.
I grabbed the keys from the guy who had keys.
Gonna have to come up with a better name for me. Can't be Rick the Raccoon. Most of these gators probably don't even know how to
Okay.
spell it.
I need you to make a quick perception check.
Okay. That's a 15.
15. As you're going to make your way to get the keys and the like, you hear the low sound of voices coming from the other side of the door.
Oh shit.
And they're talking. They don't seem to be alarmed, but it's just like very low, grumbling voices.
Like
and
door to the outside?
towards the inside
Oh, okay.
of the prison. They don't seem to be alerted to your presence. There's no kind of sense of urgency, but there seem to be talking back and forth in this prison, the main prison area that you would assume would be. And then there's 2 lower voices, and then 2 higher voices as well.
Okay. So definitely more than 3 people.
There's 4 people. There's 4 voices, 4
Okay.
distinct voices that you can tell.
So I think there are 4 people down there. Even if they are the 3 prisoners, there's more people than we were expecting.
Do you want us to try to relieve the guard?
That might be
What?
a good idea.
You want me? You got any more of those silence things? You want me to make you invisible and you do that shabang shabang wackety whack thing again?
How does it sound like? Are we going underground now?
Yeah. It seems to be dug into
I'm-
just a little basement area, dug into the sand.
I'm not as worried about silence at this point.
Would it seem like would it be reasonable to think that if there was lots of loud fighting, could it be heard from outside?
It was silence, wasn't it?
No, you get the sense that your fighting that just happened, no one really heard, or at least no one made any indication of that. But you'd be far enough underground in the stairs, and if you closed the door, you would hope that you'd be able to at least be quiet enough to have a fight in there. But it's hard for you to tell.
Well, I can silence again.
I say you stay here. We'll silence and we'll let you know if we need help.
Oi!
Oi.
Okay, so can we look through another keyhole maybe? In scope?
Yes, there is another keyhole. Make a perception check again. Sorry, you roll a lot of those.
That's only a 9.
A 9. So there is a little keyhole. You see to the side here that the edge of a table,
Okay.
a round table and a few chairs. You see off to the side, straight ahead. A prison, but you didn't roll high enough, unfortunately, to see what's inside. It's a very dark prison. This is a very low lit room, and you are able to see sitting in one of these chairs, around a large table, is a very large, bluish crook. One of the very large, brutish, bulging muscles seems to just be sitting there, not particularly alarmed. And at his side, you see this massive, massive club with spikes on it.
Right, so I relay the club up.
Alright, well, I think that the 3 of us try to take them out.
What?
Do we think so? Do we think that the 3 of us are enough to handle these? To handle that big guy?
I hope so, but... Anilan, what do you think?
I mean, we can try. I don't think we could sneak by him with where he's sitting, even if we were to go invisible again.
That's true.
Why don't we... Will I even notice if... Why don't we all come?
Gross.
So one of
Da-
my
But, so did you...
I'm okay with not keeping the post up at the front. If that's what
Oh,
you want.
Hey,
Why-
Vic, you want to play Tickle Me Elmo?
How about this? Why don't you cast silence and then you hang back? Give me just a few seconds to see how we do against these guys. And if it looks like, and then Anulin, you come with me, maybe fire off a few arrows, and then you. If it. How would I let you
Anything
know?
to get me out of this.
And then I'll let you
this
judge.
sticky head.
Based on our first attack, you will need help. How does that sound? Dealer's choice. I'll let you know. Does that work?
Stomp twice if you think you need help.
Alright. So did you have that? So
No,
basically, Game's
sorry.
gonna cast silence as Anula and I burst through the doors.
as a spell slot or as a ritual.
Up to you.
It depends if you want to wait 10 minutes.
It's up to you
I
guys.
mean.
Not up to me.
No, I mean,
Okay.
I think we
meant it's
have time. I feel like there's no sense of anybody. Yeah,
Is
we
it?
have time.
Yeah. What time is it close to? It's not close to dawn yet, right?
No, not even close.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have time.
It's not even like near midnight. Really.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably 10:30.
Okay. Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, we have time.
Let's do it.
All right.
We're
So,
keeping posts, so.
Yeah.
yeah, I start channeling.
Okay, so you start channeling. You hear the sound of voices talking, and you get the sense that there are 4 of these crooks talking. 2 are very low and deep, and the other 2 are high. As like the 10 minutes goes on, you can kind of hear that there's maybe some sloshing, clanking of glass bottles and mugs potentially. So you wait for the channel for 10 minutes, and you feel the silence immediately go beyond the room.
Yeah. So my idea is, if I'm like at the top of the stairs,
Yeah.
I'm trying to cast it right here.
Yeah.
So like this whole area, but I would be like just on the edge of it.
Yeah.
Just
so
on the
like
edge
just to
outside.
kind of capture
Okay.
this whole area.
Yeah.
Okay, so you burst into the room.
And for reference, I don't know if any of these guys are spellcasters, but any spell with verbal components is impossible in silence.
Okay.
As we just saw with Sylvie's amazing dagger.
That was a good.
It was a good dagger,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I rolled max.
Yeah, you popped a good one.
Max damages.
I'm sorry, I don't know where my tokens are.
Where are your tokens? We need more Draculas.
More Draculas. Daytime Draculas.
I swear. Okay, here's one. Thank God. Here's the
I
other.
just need to start preparing silence all the time. I
Yeah.
need to never
It's
not
so
have
good.
it.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, just need one more token, guys. Need one more token.
In the meantime,
Okay.
Vic
I'm gonna
and
grab
Nick,
some water real quick. Hold on.
Vic and Nick are playing Tickle Me Rodak.
So I'll just show you the scene.
You
You
didn't have to.
You had unlocked it. You basically, as soon as silence goes off, you unlock the door,
Yeah.
and with the key that you found on the guard, and the door flies open. You see 4 lizard folk outside of the cages, standing there, shocked. 2 of them are huge.
Oh my gosh. This isn't really to scale. This is not to scale. One is walking down this way. There is another one standing here, and then another one standing there.
And
Boy,
so
Nick, let's leave these losers and go hit the bar.
I'm with you, Vic. Let's go pick up some hookers.
The door flies open, and you see their mouths go like, and they're really confused. There's sort of a drunken haze on their eyes, but the 2 huge ones pick up their massive clubs and start charging at you. The other ones have these rum bottles, and they pull out their. I think I have some kind of. Oh yeah, and they pull out little daggers, and they are ready to fight. And I think that because they're surprised, we're gonna get a surprise round. But I want everyone to roll for initiative.
Oh, she.
Except for us, right?
Yeah, we're
Except
not
for you guys.
engaged.
Well,
I mean, we're just chilling. We're sitting
Yeah.
up top.
yeah, it's true.
We're just scratching our heads.
Our lizard balls.
Yes.
Good.
I got a 23.
I got a 10.
I'm Me nuts are extra
Okay.
scaly.
23 for Annulin. Okay, Rodek and Yanji.
10.
16.
10. 16. Roll for 3 clovers. 20 plus. Okay.
How far away from them would you say we are?
I mean, you guys are probably only 20, 30 feet. It's not very far. Maybe with the Pythagoras being a dick, probably a little bit more, but whatever.
We're within 60 feet of them.
Yes. Yeah.
But we don't know what's in on the other side of the room.
Okay.
We don't, but Lumi's on Annulin.
So you get a surprise round, and they both are fucking shit at initiative. So, with that, it's Annulin's turn. Surprise round.
Surprise!
Haha.
Can I take a bonus action on a surprise round?
Yeah.
Just a full turn.
It's a full. I mean, technically it's just a round, but they have their surprise debuff is really what it is.
They're flat-footed.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to cast my Hunter's Mark on the big dude and make a double attack on him. Okay, so I got a 28 and then a critical fail.
28 hits. Critical fail obviously doesn't.
Barely misses. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's nice.
And you can use the purple one for shelter.
Okay, just a second.
That's much more visible.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
It's way more
And
better.
I like that it's a red arrow.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
They're very nice. Very nice. Sorry, what was the damage on that?
Really shitty. That's a 10.
10 damage to number 2.
2. Yeah. Sorry.
Alright, guys, we need a ranger.
Trader.
As soon as
I think she needs
as
some
they
revision.
open the door, Annulin is ready. She was in basically a leaping position, leaping into the room, firing to the motion of her acrobatics sends one flying, but the other one sinks into its chest. Doesn't do that much damage as it is looking bloodthirsty and ready. It has no idea what's going on, but they're ready to fuck you up. But they look very surprised and a little drunk, so they're not as reactive as they would hope. Ganji, you're up.
All right.
In
so,
silence.
Yes, in silence. So seeing that there are more than them than we necessarily thought, I'm going to step back out of silence, which, like I said, I should have been on the border. So I should just be able to take a step back.
Yeah, you go up a step.
I'm going to whisper to these two that, hey, I think we might need some help with this.
Did you hear that, Vic?
And
Oh,
then
Nick, let's rock and roll.
and then I'm going to Sacred Flame number 4.
Okay.
So he makes a dex save.
Okay. That'll be a 23.
It passes, so nothing happens.
Silently, the platinum flame comes down. The little guy with the rum bottle jumps out of the way.
I'm going to, for the rest of my move, I'm going to whisper to Sylvie that you can cast on the edge of at the top of the stairs.
I got a dagger, fuck it.
I respect that too. And then I'm going to, oh shit, I'm going to jump down in front of Anyon.
Okay.
Okay, my turn?
Yep.
I'm going to walk up one space, and I would like to power attack.
Okay.
20.
To hit.
That's
5, 10, 20 damage.
the little guy Joe.
Yeah, little guy Joe.
20 damage to little guy Joe. How much damage? Sorry about that.
20.
20 to number 2, 1. Or actually, rather 3 and 4.
5.
5 and 4. Wow, this is great. 20 damage. He is grabbing his rum bottles. He tries to get up on the stair from his chair. He wobbles a little bit. You cleave into his chest. He stumbles back. He's looking weak.
I'm going to attack again.
No.
Ooh, that's no good.
No, you
I'm going to make it a
probably
precision attack. There we go. 18.
18 hits.
Just mark that off so I don't forget. And so I don't need a d12. Ooh, that's like minimum damage. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage.
Your axe comes out and cleaves him in half.
Okay.
Didn't matter.
Completely destroyed.
I then would like to turn use a bonus action to attack.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna make it a power attack. Let's make it a power attack. Why not? So at 20.
20?
Yep.
Okay.
Hit?
That hits, yeah.
That's true. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 23 damage.
23 damage. Okay. 23 damage to number what?
2.
2. Hold on.
How's he looking?
To number 2, the big guy.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty good. Anulin, what do you roll for number 2 damage?
10 and then
10. 10.
just once?
Yeah, she missed her.
You did 23
Yeah.
damage to this? Sorry, math is hard. 23 damage to this, right?
I did 10. Yeah, I did 23. Yeah.
He's looking fine. Your axe hammers into him. He's not nearly as clothed as the other. He seems to be this hulking monstrosity almost, and he's looking pretty good. And with that, we are going to... let's see.
How do Nikki and I enter the rotation?
Now that surprise round is over...
Should we just roll for initiative?
Why don't you roll for initiative, yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm rolling, guys.
I got an 18.
I got a 14.
14. Rodak, you got a 13, right?
Yeah.
So Sylvie goes above Rodak, and then Vanus goes above this.
Yep.
Okay. And so as soon as that's over,
Yeah.
I'm going to need everyone within... I mean, the three of you, Ganji, Rodak, and Anulin, to make a con saving throw. The one remaining guy with the rum bottle takes a swig of his rum, and some strange radiating energy comes out from that.
I got a 13.
Does it feel poisonous at all?
It is.
I got an 11.
You're resistant, not immune.
I roll advantage. Okay, cool. 3 plus
A lot of con,
7 is 10.
You feel a drunken haze come over you. Anulin, you push it off. Vandris, or Ganji and Rodak, you are now completely hammered, as if you just drank a bottle of rum.
Contact high.
You are now poisoned for 1 hour. And while you're affected, if you move more than half of your speed, you'll fall prone.
I think some preachy thing about not drinking alcohol. Is that what I'm picking up here? They're poisoned for an hour. They're not the best selves.
What do you want from me?
That's for sure.
What do you want from me?
Dungeon Master.
Okay, Anulin, you're up.
Okay.
You're not drunk.
Let's see. My hunter's mark's still on the big guy, so I'm just gonna fire 2 more arrows at him. And is that Hexenser? What is on him?
That's your hunter's mark.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot I have a thing now. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
That's what we do.
You will be red, I will be purple. So that way we can tell the difference.
Got a 21 and a 25.
They both hit.
Okay, first one is 25 damage.
Okay.
Second is 21.
Okay. You know, why not? Why not? Both of your arrows sink into its hide, lets out a roar now that he's finally kind of not as surprised. He's coming back to himself, but he's looking a little bloody. Vanus, you're up.
Alright, I don't know where my character is. I'm assuming I'm back with Sylvie.
Yeah, you're back with Sully. Vanus?
Oh,
I think he's over there.
You're top of the stairs there.
He's at the top of the morning to you.
I'm counting, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He said
I
that
can
we
move
were
up
about
5. I'm gonna move up 5. And attack the big guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's in range, yeah. He's in range, fine.
I got a 28.
Hits.
One off that old natty crit.
Dang.
So close.
So close.
That's a lot. 11 plus 6 is 17, plus 3 is 20, plus 26. 26 points of
Oh my
damage.
god.
Jesus.
26 points of damage.
Stabby, stabby.
If my math is not wrong here,
Oh, it's not. He did.
And it's not wrong exactly enough. Vandra sprints down the room. A shambling facsimile of a crook runs into the room. They look at you like, what the fuck is going on? And your rapier only flashes for a moment. You're so fast. You sink it deep into his chest. You feel it shatter one of its enormous ribs. It pierces his heart, and he collapses with a loud thud.
Surprise, motherfucker!
my headcanon is he was left with 1 HP after that, but then the shock of seeing you with a stitched crocodile on your head shocked him to death. Shocked him the rest of the way.
Yeah, do they just get like completely horrified when they get up close and realize it's like sewn on?
I don't think it's too much for them to really realize. Okay, Ganji, you're up, fam.
Okay. So I can't cast, and attacking is a disadvantage. So I'm gonna fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
You're both
I'm gonna fucking lightning breath number 4.
Okay.
And if only that gave me some benefit from being drunk, but I doubt it.
There's no like repeated saving throw, right?
I do not believe so, no.
Dex saving throw.
19.
That passes, so he takes half of garbage of 7.
Dude,
so he
your
takes
phone over
3
there,
damage.
so we should
Wow.
turn up a little bit.
Sorry. 7?
Yeah. He takes half of that.
He takes half of 7.
Mhm.
He
So-
takes 3 damage.
Yeah. It's
That's,
not
has he taken? That guy's not taking any damage. has
Nope.
he? Okay.
I'm just getting that Colossus Slayer out
So you, as soon as the drunken aura intoxicates you, you stumble forward. You look at your hammer. You look at your spells. It's so quiet. You're like whatever, and your mouth lazily shoots open. Lightning kind of veers off to the side. It still shocks him a little bit, but he is able to dodge a little bit out of the way. Sylvia, you're up.
I want to use my turn to rifle through the dead bodies of the guards to find the key and lock the door.
I have
Okay.
the key.
You have the key, you took it?
Yeah, that's how I.
Well, there's got to be more than one copy. Let her take a look.
Oh yeah, no, I mean if you want to look for another
Yeah.
copy, the other one might have
So
it.
you have the key to that door. You rummage around. Just make a quick investigation check.
16.
16. You do manage to find a separate key for both of them.
Nice. Yeah,
Each of them
that's
had
it.
a copy, and
Appreciate
it
that.
locks the door. And you spend your whole action doing that. And you give it a little test, and it seems to be
The
very
door up here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure no one can get in.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
It's locked in.
Okay.
I'm shocked you guys didn't have are they gonna lock it? Nope. With that, it is Rodok's turn.
And I'm drunk as shit, right?
Yep. You can't. If you move more than half your speed, you just fall prone.
So is it difficult,
Terrain over the big guy. Yeah.
but over through Vandris? I forget how that works.
Yes. Pass
We
the
never
door.
did that. I
Well,
thought.
half your speed, you only have 25 speed.
Yeah.
So you couldn't get there anyway. Because it would take your full speed to get there.
1,
So you can go
1, 2.
2.5 spaces. So you, like, no matter what you do, you can't get to anyone without falling prone. Literally, no matter how you do
Wait a
it.
minute, so does that mean that if he falls prone, on his next turn he has to use half his movement speed to get up?
Yep.
So
And
then he can't
move
move.
anymore?
He just doesn't
No,
get up.
it's half of half. So you have to use a quarter of his movement.
Oh dear lord.
Wait, no. If he uses. Oh, okay, I see.
It's half of half, so it'd be quarter.
That depends how you do it. Is my movement
Yeah.
still 25, but I can only move half of it, or does it drop my movement to half my speed?
No, you're at half your speed. If you move, you still
So
have your
getting
full
up
speed.
would take literally like
still
all
have
of my
your full
movement and
speed.
I'd fall again.
Yeah, you still.
Right.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So could I move and then just fall down, but still make the space?
What do you mean?
So as long as I could
No,
basically.
you fall prone to stop.
So
you can't move all the way to him and then fall prone.
So could I move 1, 2, 3, 4? This is over half my movement. Then I would fall here in this
Yes.
space.
Yes.
Okay.
Could you
But
go
then your
diagonal?
next turn, you have to use your entire action to get out.
Could you go diagonal?
Or you'll just fall back down again.
Diagonal to where?
So
Well, no,
either
it's
way, you're
move
gonna-
half your movement. So it's not spending half your movement. So you could get up and you could then move. That's right.
Okay.
It's moving half your movement, not spending. Like yeah.
Okay. So I would like to. I'm going to 1, 2, here, basically one step over, fall down.
What are you doing?
Oh, this is hold on.
And none of you can hear each other because you're all in
Oh,
a
yeah.
bubble.
Yeah, we're still in silence.
I'm gonna use action surge to dash, and use half of my movement to stand up.
Okay.
What the hell?
So then I still have 2.5 things of movement left.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move here,
And
1.5.
fall prone.
No, it's only 1.5.
Oh.
Half my movement is 2.5, right?
I think you're metagaming this.
Yeah, right?
Well, because I think if it's because you're drunk, you trying to heat yourself up is gonna make you dizzy and sick again and fall back down. I think isn't that the point of it? Is like
Well, I
you
don't-
can't
that's
move
pretty
more than
true.
half of your movement because you're drunk.
So I
You'll
can't
pass
use
out.
action surge right now, basically.
Why? I don't know. It just seems.
I don't see why not. I mean, think about it this way: if Rodek is in a rage and he drunkenly falls down, he's like, "Oh, fuck this," and then he action surges.
Yeah, I guess if
No,
he's like
but I'm
stealing
saying,
himself.
I'm saying if it's half your movement and you fall over, if it's half your movement to get up, it's basically saying to get up from prone, it's the same exertion as half your movement. So wouldn't that knock him prone?
It's during a turn. So remember, it's not like you reset your movement. It's just the whole turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
I'm
the
just
whole
not gonna do that then. I'm just gonna literally. I'm gonna
It doesn't reset. When you
step
fall
here, wobble a little bit, and then just take the dodge
Okay.
action.
You're wobbling drunkenly on top of the corpse of this gator folk.
But then do Drunken Master
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that you can dodge.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like this, step on one foot, and then fall
With
over.
that, it is Monsters 1, right? Because the big guy, now that he's gotten to himself, he is going to hold out his club and just do a full-on charge into the line of all 4 of you. So everyone needs to make
I'll roll for you.
a Dex or Strength saving
I just
throw.
need his
Yeah.
sheet.
Dex or Strength.
Evasion.
20 for a Rodak.
17 for me.
20.
16.
20 for Rodak.
20 for Rodak.
Unbelievable. So the crook uses all of his strength to charge, and although Rodek is still hammered, he plows into Rodek. He still takes, and we can.
You can pass me this and his little thing, and I'll write it down.
Yeah. He still takes
What type of damage?
bludgeoning.
Okay, so
5,
he has.
8.
Or
No,
it's
minus
minus 3.
Oh, minus 3. Sorry.
Oh, wow, I rolled really low. 15 points of bludgeoning
So
damage.
12.
And Rodek is feeling like he would basically barrel into him, but with all of his strength, he pushes back and stops the crook in his tracks.
Nice.
And so he just stops there. And so with that, it's Monster 2's turn, and he can't cast spells.
Nope.
Silence Sophie.
He is going to run up and attack Vandris because he looks. Oh wait, no, he's a crook, so he's gonna go up and attack Rodek because he looks drunk and he looks less scary. With that, he's going to do a multi-attack. We're going to do the bite real quick first, and that's going to fail miserably. And then he's going to swing in with his dagger, and that is going to hit. Thank God. And that's going to do a whopping 9 points of slashing damage.
Minus 3.
Minus
Minus 3.
So it'll be 6.
Yeah. So that's
No, 7, because I can count. 9.
9 minus
No,
3 is
yeah,
6.
6.
You were right.
I was looking at the 2.
So that should be 66.
66.
Do.
Root 66. I'm good at maths.
I love maths.
I'm very good at maths. I graduated high school.
Okay. With that, that's the end of their turn. And, hold on. Okay. Anglin, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to transfer my Hunter's Mark to the other biggin.
Okay.
And do I need to move at all, or can I shoot kind of through them?
I think that he's so large you'd be able to shoot over their heads and be fine.
Okay, cool. Then I'm going to fire 2 shots.
Okay.
And then he's 30 damage.
He's damaged, yes. No, he's not. He's not taking any damage.
He's
Sorry.
not damage.
Yeah, no damage.
I keep losing my dice, sorry. I got a 19 and a 29.
19 and 29. Those both hit.
You took some damage, but you stopped his charge. So
Yeah,
Right.
I rolled really high for you,
Thank
so.
you.
I got you a 20.
That's what the DC was.
Damage is
Oh,
12.
really? Nice.
What was that? Ann, sorry?
First damage is 12.
Okay. 12 damage. Thunk, your arrow, as he's really upset by being stopped by Rodek in his charge.
Oh, so I stopped his charge completely.
You did, yeah.
Nice, nice. Good job, guys.
And that's your health. I made sure to
Second
take
is
off the
17.
3.
17 damage? Okay.
Because I know how to play you.
The other one finds its mark into its broad chest, and with that, it is Vander's turn.
I'm going to rotate around the guy who is standing in front of me, 1, 2, 3, 4, to position myself between the big guy and the little guy.
Okay. Rodek, you want to do that? Around the horn there. Yep.
Yep,
That-
so I don't
Just
want to
don't
incur any
stop
opportunity
him, yeah.
attacks, and then I'm going to attack the big guy.
Okay.
15 plus 9 is 24.
24 hits.
$24 points of damage.
Okay. 24. Jesus Christ. It being hit with 2 arrows and also being stopped by Rodek, you effortlessly slide around, get it, your rapier into his side. He lets out this growl that you cannot hear, and now it's Gandy's turn.
Okay. I am going to move up to the little guy, which I should be able to do without using half my move.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to attack him at disadvantage.
Okay.
Do you have 2 channels though?
He was only hit by your lightning, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Vandris, by the way, you need to make a con saving throw. Sorry about that.
Okay.
This is my fault. We'll say that the last attack hit and it was fine.
Oh boy, I got a 1.
A 1. So you are now drunk and poisoned, and but because that was my fuck up, we'll just say
It hit.
it hit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is 7 plus what is it? 13 to hit the little guy.
Barely hits.
Next.
Nice.
So what is this guy doing to poison everyone? It's like coming out of his
He has a
pores?
drunken aura.
Oh. Does it look like it's magic?
It's not a spell.
14.
But does it look like it's magic?
It's like a yeah, it's probably like a magical power, I guess. What was that?
14 damage.
14 damage to little guy Joe. Wow, that's a lot. Let me just make sure. Okay. You swing your warhammer. It glows and lights up the room, and it smashes a bunch of his teeth. They clatter to the ground. He's looking very, very wounded. Sylvia, you're up.
Can I see the little guy from where I'm at on the stairs? If I'm at the head of
I'd
the
say you could
stairs?
probably walk down the
Because
stairs
I'm
out of the
short.
silence range, and you could probably shoot something at him.
Okay. So I will do that. I'll get to the very. Actually, no. Sylvie is going to hold her dagger up high, and she's and she's gonna run in as she gets to the side. And then she's gonna run in and slash the guy.
Okay.
She's gonna like weave through him and slash him.
These guys aren't actually here.
But I'm not gonna be
No.
able to get an attack because I'm gonna probably have to use my entire movement.
You were like here.
Yeah, I was right
1,
there.
2, 3, 4.
Well, she
I
can
want
just
the
go
little
there.
guy.
there.
Oh, that guy. Yeah,
Yeah, I want the little guy.
You can make that.
And I'm gonna dagger him.
Okay.
Dagger.
No.
Oh no.
No, I'm
Critical
not.
fail.
You scream
Internally.
and slip on some of the spilled rum on the ground and stumble, and you miss your dagger attack.
I'm like, it's so like her to want to use her dagger.
You
right
still
now.
look like a
Yeah.
crook, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Rodek, you're up.
You've gotten a taste.
You're
of blood,
drunk
you
and
might
up.
want more.
He looks the most damaged.
4's about to die, I think.
Well, the little guy is
Oh.
like very, very close to that.
I will
Okay.
heave my. I imagine this effect like Conquer's Bad Fur Day, where like he's
Yeah,
running, but then he
yeah.
like this takes 2 steps back.
Yeah,
and 2
pretend
steps-
his Conquer's bad for it. There you go.
12.
I'm gonna use my
Very
reaction
nice.
to add 10.
Okay.
Hey, thank you, Muhammad.
You feel like your attack is going to miss, and Bahamut, I don't think you can roll low enough to not kill him. Yeah, you can't roll low enough to not kill him. But it's gonna miss in your drunken stupor, but you feel the blessings of Bahamut lower your axe a little bit and cuts him in half. His rum bottle clatters to the floor, and he is dead.
I almost trip as my axe kind of swings around, and I just want to kind of like keep it going through, keep the axes keep going through the next guy as I do another attack.
Shots for Bahamut. Shots.
Take inspiration. That's a 13. But it's a new guy on
Yeah,
one.
the big guy.
What about number one?
I rolled a 13 on this guy for my
To
second
hit, he misses.
I'm gonna use a bonus action and attack again.
Okay.
Because I killed the guy.
There you
There
go.
we
There
go.
we go.
Oh!
Would have been a crit
I
though.
rolled a 19 and a 20. Anyway, so that hits.
So that hits.
I'm gonna make it a menacing attack.
Okay.
With saving throw on his part.
Okay. Let's see. What's his whiz? Ah, it's not good enough.
You failed?
Failed.
Okay, so he is now afraid of me until the end of my next turn.
Okay. Despite your drunken super, you stopping his charge and doing a little bit of damage. Wait,
And I did 21 damage.
21 damage? Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. I need to just triple the health of everything. And with that, he looks very afraid. And it is his turn since he can't attack you, right?
What?
Can he attack you? Or
What do you mean can he attack me?
It's his turn. He can't attack you.
What can he do? If
He can attack me. He's disadvantaged. He can't willingly move closer to me.
Oh yeah, he's disadvantaged.
Okay.
on
He's
his
disadvantaged
So
as long
he
as he
is-
can see me.
Yeah, so he's
on
going,
any attacks.
So yeah,
or
he's just going to go. He's
melee
afraid of you, so he's
Right.
like, "Oh, get away from me!" Oh, just do his one attack that he has, and just critically fail. He just drops the fucking club to the ground and picks it up like a fucking
This
doofus.
is on worse.
Not a doofus.
Take mine.
Okay, Angelin, you're up.
Alright, I'm going to load my bow up with 2 arrows. Let her rip.
Pacoo, pachoo.
Gross. Do that in your own time. Silence doesn't prevent against that.
There's some silent deadly joke in there, but I mean,
What a farce! This is a total farce.
This is
Angelin.
a farce,
Oh,
Angelin.
farce. I got a 26 and a 15.
Okay. Both hit.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
He must have like 14. So.
15.
Yeah, it's 13 minutes. So yeah.
And 19 for the first damage.
Okay.
Damn, Anulin.
Damulin.
Ooh, damn, Anulin. I love it.
18, you said?
Anulin. 18.
Oh, I love that Vandris has Sylvie on her
Okay.
shirt.
21 was the second damage.
Yeah.
I don't know Lumi is a cat though.
She is if I want her to be.
It's a parallel universe, Sylvie.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right.
21?
It is just a polymorph throw deck.
How do you want to do this?
Hey.
Yeah, girl.
Really respectfully, because I feel bad that Vandris is still wearing this crocodile skin.
Respectful murder, you know.
So,
Yeah,
as
just respectfully as well.
as stoically and nobly as you can, like putting a wounded beast out of its misery in the wild, you aim for its heart for the most painless death possible, and just quick and easy, sinks in almost instantly. The eyes, the light goes out of its eyes, and it stumbles forward, falling to the ground, dead.
And I'm the last thing that it sees before it dies.
Yeah.
Alright, so dismiss silence.
Okay, silence is dismissed.
Well, that was fun.
I don't know what's happening. I feel a little off.
I'm not
So
feeling
this is
too
the
great
thing
either.
that
I
I've
feel kind of
noticed.
good, but kind of weird at the same time.
So this is the thing that I've noticed. Either Rodek doesn't want to do anything at all ever, and he complains, or he rushes in and tries to kill everybody. There is really no middle ground, and I think we need to rein him in.
That sounds good to me.
Turn him into a pony, Sylvie.
I
How
think
about
we
a
should
pig?
talk about this maybe in a bit. I'm not feeling great.
Yeah, could we? Are there? Who's in the cells over there? Can I look?
Let's look. It sounds like a good idea.
What can I use all of my movement to run at and try and knock Rodek over?
Sure, you can make a attack against him, or
I just want to
athletics
push him over.
It'd be a strength contest.
Strength contest then.
Would he be at disadvantage because he's drunk?
That's an ability check, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically,
yes.
Well, he's gonna win it.
At
I'm gonna
disadvantage,
try to. At a 7. Yeah.
Only just barely.
8.
So Sylvie, or if it's just athletics, Sylvie runs at Rodek, tries to knock him over. Despite being drunk, he still manages.
You just run
Damn
it.
Yeah, you hit his face.
Damn it! That would have been so funny.
I'm just gonna take
What's
a
going
seat
on?
over here for now. And
With that, you hear a voice call out from one of the cells.
What exactly happens out there?
Okay, Scabbers, shut up. Nobody's talking to you, rat boy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You
Don't
sound like a
get
man made of rats.
Don't worry about it. We're good.
I want to stumble
This is
over, like
fine.
using the bars to kind of like support my weight to like look to go down to see who it is.
So, you see that there are 5 cells
Okay.
in this prison.
So uncovered doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I mean, this is really all there is to it. This is basically
So we can kind of get a
Yeah.
good sense of.
So you get a sense now that the combat's over, the silence has dropped. You're able to look around and do an investigation. It's not difficult to see that there are 3 prisoners in this prison. In the first cell, you get the sense the voice that called out to you is a slightly smaller than average crook. He has bright green skin, few markings of orange, and he looks at me. He's like,
Oh, are you here to kill me?
Okay, Rodek, this is not your time. You're a little drunk. Let me handle this. He's flesh of my flesh, as you can see.
And I'm gonna.
Are you still?
Yes, I'm gonna jumble over to him and I'm gonna go. Hey, what are you doing in here?
Oh, I was taken because of the mutiny. They was gonna execute me at dawn. Are you
Traitor's
actually-
Tom. Your name Traitor's Tom.
No, my name's Ratley.
Nope, Scabbers. Vic! You drunk?
What?
Scabbers is over here. I'm pretty sure he's a friend of Traitorous Tom. We gotta question him.
I'll be right there.
You just wait when my friend asks you questions because he's better at that shit than I am. And I'm gonna give him like the worst crocodile stink eye you can possibly
I'm still
give
standing there,
someone.
by the
Are
way.
you with these warm bloods?
No, they're just down here so I can piss on them.
Oh, right. What Nick
What
said.
did you just call me?
I'm not used, but that's one and that one over there.
All right, shut up and listen here.
Ah,
You said mutiny. What were you doing as part of the mutiny?
well, what if I told you? Why are you questioning me? I already told you everything I
We're
know.
the right-hand man
We're
of
not
King
in the
Krem
business
himself.
around here.
make an intimidation check with advantage because Sylvie's helping you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
With advantage?
I rolled really poorly, but I'm feeling lucky in my state of inebriation. I feel lucky.
Naturally,
Like,
naturally.
something may have happened.
Yeah.
That's much better. My intimidation is a 16.
He cowers back a little bit. He's like,
They called me and accused me of conspiring against King Krem and Advisor Orpheus, and they threw me in here, and they was gonna make an example of me. I just told you everything I know.
Was you doing what was they telling you was doing, or was you not? What was you telling them what you were doing? What you telling them?
Hold on. Even in my state, I'd like to stop you for a second.
Yeah, but I would like for you to not. If I have to polymorph you into a pig, I'm gonna do it.
Can I just offer one thing? It sounds like you don't like King Krem and this Orpheus guy, is that right?
No, a lot of us don't like him. No, is that why you're here to kill me?
No. So that's what I wanted to say. We're not gonna kill you. And it seems to me like, are there lots of you out there that are also in the same agreement?
I get what you're laying down. Now you tell me, Scabbers.
Right here we've got Prince Vic the Vicious. Potentially King Vic the Vicious. I'm spitting all over myself. That's how excited I am. Now the thing is, we're here for an uprising. We're gonna kill off King Krem. Cause Vic here's got our best interest at hand. Bitches, booze, and gold. 3 things that start with B. You get what I'm laying down for you?
I think I do.
You see what
I
we did
don't
to these
recognise
with
you
these
now.
guys?
I don't.
That's because I'm Nick the Nasty. I sneak around in the
Contact
shadows.
the rest of your mutiny.
How is you talking without moving your mouth?
I said, shut up! I'm asking the questions around here.
That's what happens when you're vicious. You don't have to use your body parts to talk.
Well, okay. Well,
Do you want to die or do you want to help?
You make an intimidation with advantage.
Well, one's a 19, so that helps. Intimidation?
Yeah.
23.
23. He nods and says,
well, if they haven't been captured yet, I mean, yeah, I was one of the ones organising the mutiny. So
How quickly can you mobilize?
well, I mean, there's not that much of us. We just have a little bit of a safe house out in the swamp outside of the city. That's all.
That sounds perfect, Scabbers. It's exactly what we need. A safe house.
No,
Right,
we're
Vic?
still in the very early stages of organisation. It takes some time.
Did you say it? I appreciate that. It sounds like a huge effort. How many? You say there's not many of you. How many would you say of you are there? They.
Well, I don't know. Some of us all got picked off. I already saw a few of us get strung up and executed, and I don't know how many are left. Probably less than a dozen.
Do you have a plan? Is there a plan that you were working on that you have that might work or something?
We were just trying to be sneaky and gauge interest, and
It worked really well, let me tell you.
well, we obviously got costumed not really well, but I was just trying to. A few of us lads was sick of this new global domination thing. We just looked like the old ways when things were simple.
The 3 B's. Bitches, booze, and gold.
Right.
Okay,
I'm all about that.
I'm getting bored of this, so I look around at the other cells. Not necessarily talking to him, just like stumbling and looking around.
in the cell directly next to this, you see a humanoid figure. It seems to be male, long black hair coming down past his shoulders, totally bare from the chest up, covered in blue tattoos.
All right, well I don't care about him. Next time.
Okay. The final cell you see crumpled into a corner, still breathing, but definitely unconscious or sleeping, seems to be Cecily.
Okay, well we got her and some asshole I don't care about. So yeah, that sounds cool.
Sometimes if you talk to assholes, they talk back. I've tried it on a few things before. It's worked for me.
Does she look hurt or anything? Like,
You're not there.
yeah, I am.
I thought you were standing with us talking to the
Yeah.
other guy.
Oh yeah.
You're
well,
here talking to the guy. Ganji went out this way. He sees that these are two empty. These two are
Okay.
empty.
Yeah, I'm still with there. Never mind. Right. Well, anyway, so it sounds like our goals are the same.
So this is my idea. The other voice hurts me, so I'm gonna do this one. So, what if, obviously, we're trying to get a new king in town, King Vic the Vicious. So what if we release all the prisoners, and we then lock up all the bodies of the guys we killed, and we leave a big message that says, Krem, Vic will rise. And we make it seem like there's a really strong uprising in this town to like create dissent among the people, and then you, Scabbers, you can then get messages back to the people you know, and we can try and build a group of uprising to just destroy everybody. But we gotta let Krem know
Brilliant.
that there is a new king in town.
Oi!
Because he wants to sacrifice these guys tomorrow. It's a big ceremony. If he comes down here and finds that his guys that are in the cells already dead, and his other guys are gone, then the people in the town are going to know he's not as powerful as he says he is.
I love it.
How would you and your friends feel about a new pirate king? Is that what you're looking for? Do you need a new leader?
I think that we'll just get rid of King Crime and Orpheus. It's
Well,
all
that's
just
what
been
we want to.
so
Do you have any
confidence. Was used at Goldhaven. Was used the ones that they were saying was from Goldhaven.
No, don't you ever repeat that ever.
I'm sorry.
I pissed on a lot of people from Gullhaven.
A lot of us died there. Just for Orpheus and Deidre, she ended up being a traitor, and I think Orpheus is going to be a traitor too, and keep credit
I
just
think
like...
you're right. I think he's going to betray all of you.
That's what I
So
think.
let's do what
He's a
Nick
warm
here
blood.
says. We'll release you and you take us to the rest of your gang.
We offer you our protection. I'm going to do the voice again. We offer you our protection, but you gotta work with us. You hear? And Vic the Vicious, you saw how he killed everybody, and he's rescuing you. Has Krem done that for you? No, he caged you up like a rat, like an aminal.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
One of them, they're animals.
14 plus 7, I can't count, so 21.
21.
Yeah, thanks.
He nods a little bit and says like, well, if you promise not to kill me, I know, and you're not really just some trick by King Krem, I guess I could lead you and see who's alive at the safe house.
It's not like you have anything else to lose. Otherwise, you die tomorrow, so sounds
I guess that's a good point too. Could you please let me out now?
I break open the
I'll
lock
look
on
through
the...
my keys and see
You
if I
find
can
the key.
unlock the door.
You find the key and it unlocks.
Okay.
And he opens
I
it.
missed the lock.
He
And I'm just
steps
staring at
out
my
and
axe
he
on the
looks
ground.
and like he steps into the midst of you. You ain't gonna kill me, is you?
As long as you don't betray us, we won't betray
And if you do, you're gonna go the ways of these guys. You hears?
He looks and surveys the gore and death, and he nods. You know, I know, they was horrible to me. I hate those guys. I'm glad they died. Frankly.
Now let's get
I would like to gather some of the, maybe like a shirt or something, like a piece of cloth that was on one of the dead bodies, like mop it in blood and start writing on the wall. Vic the Vicious will rise.
Yeah.
Down with King
I
Crab.
want to use my mage hand to kind of help him.
You just make a straight dex check to see how intimidating it is.
I want to sing him a.
18.
Okay, never mind.
Was it 19?
18.
18. You do a pretty good job. It looks like smeared in blood, and it looks like gross and menacing.
We should probably get this lady out too.
And I'm going to utilize that time then to also start dragging the bodies into the cells and then locking them in. And then, yeah. I think that's what I'm gonna do
As soon
there.
as you're doing that, you hear a voice call out from the cell next to it and says, I assume you're going to leave me to die.
Well, that depends on what you can offer us, blue tattooed piece of shit.
What are you asking?
Why you sound like Orpheus?
Because the DM can only do so much. Let's do a little bit more up here. Orpheus doesn't sound like this up here, does he?
Hey, True Strike.
Hey.
True strike.
Why did you get thrown in here instead of put up on one of those spikes outside?
He turns his face, and you can see that there are 4 tentacles coming down from his chin. He seems to be of Elvish ancestry. You're not sure if he's a full elf or a half elf, but he looks at you and he says, I was the last remaining of the Kraken priests, and King Krem was saving me for the special execution of this horrific creature here.
So
Wait a
you...
minute. Are you a cultist?
No, hold on.
Cultist!
Hold on, Vic. Now,
Go ahead.
are you aware the fate of Deandra Tidehunter?
I can only assume.
What can you assume?
I can assume that I have a feeling. I pray to my goddess and she tells me nothing. But I can assume that her work was done whether she lives or dies.
It's probably right, but she's dead, is what I'm trying to say. We killed her. The 5 of us. She's dead.
And
So-
it was easy.
It was easy, see?
This is why.
He glares at you. He glares at you.
This is why Vic will rise.
He believes you.
So, do you,
True strike.
in her last moments,
Oh, sorry.
Rodek pulls out his fiddle and starts. He doesn't have a fiddle. He doesn't know how to fucking play a fiddle.
Genji's doing the Russian dance.
He's like down on the floor, like kicking his legs out.
We'll do, what, do I keep on?
So, what's your goal now? Let's say we break you out of here, and you come with us. Who's to say you wouldn't just murder us in our sleep, give us some kind of sea curse to choke on water? What's your purpose from now? All of your brothers, your entire cult has been wiped out except you. You're the last one.
I believe that's true.
So now what?
Our work is complete. All I ask is to serve my goddess the best I can.
What's your name, friend?
Your work isn't complete, just so you know. She died before she got to finish what she was trying to do.
Did she?
She did.
Can you roll a deception check for me?
No. No, I can't.
Okay.
7.
Okay. You're lying.
You're gonna die.
We all die.
You can keep looking at me with those vacant eyes, but you're still gonna die.
What was her work?
Well, she didn't get to finish it, Rodak.
No, I'm just... Whether she finished it or not, what was she trying to accomplish?
To doom this world.
Why?
We never truly know. We just
Vic,
listen to
get
the
him.
whispers.
It's time.
I begin to draw Venom's spine.
No, we're not. No.
I'm gonna polymorph Rodak.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Am I disadvantaged because I'm drunk? Is that, or is that a
Saving
saving
throw.
throw?
Saving throw is not disadvantage.
Oh.
It's ability checks.
Can you triple
Oh.
check?
I just I checked before.
Okay, cool.
Wisdom?
Yes.
17.
It's a 17.
Meter beat.
Yep.
Oh,
So
that kind of tickled. So anyway, we're not going to kill this man.
No, we're gonna kill him.
I want to look for manacles. Are there any
Kill
manacles
him.
lying around?
Kill him before he finds manacles, please.
I'm approaching the cell.
I'm gonna shoot an Eldritch Blast at him.
okay.
2 of them.
Okay.
I imagine both of them will hit. The lowest one's a 14 plus an 8. A
Yep.
9.
Yep, that'll hit.
10, 16,
Can I jump in the way of one of them? Or 2 of them?
20,
If you-
21.
If you make a dex check, and we'll see what you can do.
21.
Big
Damage.
6. Big 6.
21 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
He is very weak, and as he's starting to talk, Rhoda, you see what Sylvie's intending to do, really just to spite you, and you try to jump in the way, but it's too late. Both the Eldritch Blast, he's starting to answer, and they just evaporate.
And for
his
the
head,
record, it has nothing
and
to
he
do with spite.
It does.
Explodes
not.
into glitter.
Unbelievable.
It is
It
right.
has-
I'm
it has
stunned
to do
silence.
with the way
I
he
slowly put
responded
Venom's spine
to
back
Sylvie.
in the sheath.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Well, I don't know why I try to think intelligently around you lot. I really don't.
You mean like running in here and saying like, oh, the 3 of us are just gonna take on a bunch of guys by ourselves?
Aye.
Because I think that'll be a good idea.
I think we would have been fine. It wasn't that hard at all.
Potentially. But at the end of the day, there's no reason to keep that guy alive. If he's gonna be a little shithead, then he deserves to die.
I say nothing.
Alright, let's take a deep breath here. We still got this guy. We got the chick in the cell over there. I think we need to round everybody up, and we've set the scene, and we should probably be on our way. We need a way out of here safely.
Well, I think that we need to at least wait until A few of you are no longer drunk, however long that's going to take.
I'm starting to feel a bit better.
And someone needs to take care of Cicely or Cecily or whatever.
I want to
her name
search
is.
what's his name's body. I never got his name.
What do you-
cultist.
You look around, and he seemed to have been stripped of really everything besides just tattered pants. You don't need to do an investigation check for that. You see Ratley looking at Sylvie with terror in his eyes, and he's shaking. He's just like, "Are you gonna do that to me too?"
I turn and I look at him. I say, "If you talk to me the same way he did, I will, and that's what I can do. You wait until you see what Vic's capable of."
Oi!
The classic Sylvie intimidation technique. Always.
Get shit done.
Alright, did anyone check on the girl?
Nope.
I'll go over and she's still sealed in the cell, right?
Yeah, I think so.
She's locked in the cell.
Okay, I'll go over and unlock the cell and check her out.
Make a medicine check.
16.
16. She seems to be pretty weak. You get the sense that that maybe being almost drowned in the very cold seawater probably had a spell of sickness come on her, and they obviously the accommodations were not great. She hasn't been brutally attacked or anything, you can tell. No immediate injuries, but she definitely seems weak and kind of fading in and out of consciousness.
Can one of you guys pick her up? We gotta get out of here.
Can we do anything to cure her, to heal her?
I mean, I probably can if we want to use spell slots on her.
How does she have some kind of disease?
I mean, it's just a sickness. She just basically caught some kind of.
I don't think we should bother. I think we should just get out of here.
All right, I'll pick her up.
So now what do we do? If we turn invisible, does she go invisible because you're carrying her?
She's a person, so it's only objects.
Okay.
So
Boy, Ratley here needs to take us to his secret lair.
are we? Well, we at least saved 2 prisoners.
And we kept one from being sacrificed. That might count for something.
So, how long has it been since we got drunk or whatever?
It's not been an hour yet. Probably. I mean, you could wait out the rest of the hour in there. It's probably been almost an hour.
Are there clothing from the prisoners and stuff? In there? Or upstairs?
You find a little in the room upstairs. You could probably find a few just pairs of pants and a robe or something to put on the prisoners.
Okay, so I want to move. the. So are we going to put them in the cages like we said? All the guys we killed.
Does that really matter
We might
at this
as
point?
well just wait out the hour anyway.
Right. I think that's fine. I can't go out like this.
Can we take a short rest to wait out the hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you take a short rest.
And we can get the dead bodies locked up in the prison.
Okay. Yeah, you spend the time dragging around. You don't really need to roll anything. You're going around and dragging things.
During the short rest, I want to pull the gang aside from Ratley and basically say, listen, I think as I'm sobering up, I say, listen, I think moving forward here, I can't wear this disguise anymore. This is crazy. I think what we need to do is let Vic kind of be an idea from here on out, right? This guy's seen Vic. He doesn't have to see him again. He knows that he exists, but I can't continue to wear this disguise. I need to kind of come back as Avantris. So we need to either mention something about meeting up with the rest of the party, blindfold him something in order to make it look like Vic has gone, into hiding, to kind of run this rebellion from behind, and behind the curtains, and make it so I can get out of this thing. Because this costume's not going to hold up very much longer.
That all sounds great, but I'm more worried about how we get out of here, out of the city.
I agree with you, but I'm saying all of this needs to happen. I can't wear this. It's literally going to start to fall apart.
How far did you say the thing is?
He said it was in the swamp just outside of town.
Question: what does it sound like outside? Does it sound still as busy as it's been, or does it
no. For the hour, you get the sense that, like, the later it gets into the night, that it's starting to quiet down a little bit.
We might be able to try sneaking.
Well, right. So I've got an idea. If you'd like me to go ahead, I can go back to the spot where we beached under that under the bridge, and I can take off my costume. I can soak in the river to get the stink off me and kind of get myself back together, and then we can rendezvous there and take the boat out.
Right. So I think that what we do is we. How given the current, how tough would it be to kind of go against the river to row back?
It would be pretty tough. I mean, from what you experience, it would be pretty tough. You may be able to do it, but it would take you a while.
So how about this? Given the current that we face coming in, I think that's a great idea. We basically repeat our same original plan. We get back in the boat, we go in the shadows, and we take it out into the ocean and try to row our way, to the side so we can get back on the beach and go back through the swamp.
All right, agreed. But again, let me go first. And we'll rendezvous at the point that we enter the city.
All right, and let's play it off like you came to meet us with the boat.
Correct. So then I turn to Ratley, and I say, "Oi, Ratley, come here."
He scampers over to you and says, yes, Vic,
Yes, you've seen the horror that I can inflict. You know that I mean business. I have men, and I've got a lot of them. And we are going to start a revolution. I want you to tell everyone that you know what you saw here tonight. This will be a message to King Crab.
Okay, no, I'll let all the lads know. Absolutely, yeah.
And then I say, good. And I begin to leave the dungeon. And, I'm disguised, I guess, so I'm going to walk back towards where we beached the boat originally.
Okay, so are you all following, or
I'm
no?
going ahead by myself.
Okay.
But we know that he's going there,
yeah.
so that will be the
So you make your way through the city. Your disguise is a little roughed up, but you manage to make it back to the under the bridge and the little embankment.
And then what I'm going to do is basically get rid of the disguise, throw it in the river, to basically get rid of it, wash myself off, try to clean myself up, and wait for them to show up.
Okay.
Meanwhile, now that I'm not poisoned anymore, I'm going to also do a medicine check on...
Okay.
What's her name?
Yep.
So that's 24.
24. You get the sense that she may not be in inherently life-threatening condition, but she's pretty rough. She's sick for sure. Is running a fever. You look like you could probably take care of that with one of your spells, but it's just a matter of how serious it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's only
Okay.
a second level spell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast lesser restoration, which cures disease.
Okay.
I'll give her one of those to try to, because basically what I'm figuring is we're going to leave her on a riverbank or something, or leave her somewhere, and there's nowhere in this area that's a great place to leave someone who's sick, because it's all swamps and shit. So I feel like it's worth it.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna cast Lesser Restoration, ending one disease or one condition afflicting it. Condition can be blind, deafened, paralyzed, poison. So I'm gonna do that on her to try to cure her disease.
She coughs up a little bit of just a little bit of fluid, but you start to see her breath kind of stabilize a little bit. It seems like the fever is dissipating.
Okay. Good. So she should be a little more mobile now. So now, how do we get her and ourselves out of here?
Well, what I
Do we have any?
Go ahead.
Just gonna say, do we have any like cloaks or something? It's night out still, so I think if we could just kind of obscure our faces and get out of here as quick as possible, out of sight.
Could we?
What I would say is that given that if we use one more pass without a trace, or if you use your shadowy spell, that could cover us getting to the boat and sailing out. Hopefully with enough time to make it back onto the beach once we're out of town.
Okay, yeah, that works.
So if we wouldn't be reasonable to think that we would have enough time in an hour to get to the boat, sail down through the town to the beach, and kind of pick left or right, and then kind of park.
So we go down into the lagoon and then.
Yes, we go down to the lagoon and then basically row our way out one way or the other to where there's like nobody.
For an hour or an hour?
In an hour.
Yeah, I think you could probably guess that would be possible.
Right, well, I say we get to move on. Wait, how many people can you affect with that?
That's the same number of people, because we don't have Avantris with us.
It's not a number, it's just people within, like...
Oh, anyone.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright. Well, let's go. And do you want to carry her? Or should I carry her? I hope you.
I can carry it. That's fine. I don't think it matters for anything.
Alright, we shall steal through... Before we do that... Yeah, I guess, yeah. You're going. Yep. Alright, let's go.
She saw us before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, if she wakes up and sees me, she's not gonna hopefully not gonna freak out too much.
Yeah.
Because she would recognize us. Okay.
Alright, so do we... I guess let's cast it down here and we'll just sneak out as stealthily as we can back to the boat.
Okay. So you're casting Pass Without a Trace, anyone?
Yep.
Okay, everyone needs to make a stealth check.
Okay.
I got a 26.
I'll roll for Cecily and...
I got a 24.
Okay.
22 for Rodek. I can roll for Sylvie.
Okay.
20 plus her dex is what? 3?
That's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be
33.
Plus 33. Okay. Cool. So Annulan once again channels the power of night. It shrouds the all of you, and you all make your way through the city. You try to be as stealthy as possible, just sliding through a crack in the door as much as it allow. Ganji has a little bit of trouble, but doesn't really attract too much attention. The streets of Gangplank and in this whole period have definitely died down a bit. It's probably approaching midnight at this point, but right now it's there's mostly just people kind of still excited about the new bounty. A lot of people are drunk at this point. A lot of the crooks are drunk, and it's not that difficult before you meet Avantris back at the boat.
Well, it looks like you guys have done well.
We did. We're all here.
Let's bring some prisoners.
Thank you for coming to pick us up.
No problem. The boat's ready, and we can all hop in and get moving.
All right. Well, we found a few friends along the way, and this young gentleman, I don't know if he's young or not, but is going to lead us to his safe house.
Oh, hello.
Name's Avantris. Pleasure to meet you.
I'm Ratley. Nice to meet you. Are you friends with Vic?
I've heard of him. Vicious fellow. We best be careful and do what he says.
I heard he's so vicious they call him Vicious Vic.
I've heard that as well. I don't want to find out why.
Oh yeah, me neither. Me neither. I've seen what you guys are capable of. So yeah, let's go.
So lead the way. We'll row. You tell us where we're going.
Okay. So, for the sake of brevity, he leads you down around, basically down the river, out into the lagoon. It curves off to the south entrance of the lagoon, and you all manage to find a spot on the beach, in far away enough from the city, where there's a big rocky outcropping. You can kind of get out of the eyes of the vultures and get rid of your boat and kind of keep on moving and get into the swamp. And so he leads you out into the swamp, and hold on.
So is this like, how long are you trying to stay here? Like, what's the plan here? I mean, I feel like we've already taken a pretty big hit.
So let's discuss while we travel. Why not?
Yeah.
Here's the thing: we have some common enemies between us. We certainly don't. We know about your lot. We know about what you've done. We certainly don't condone it, and we're not endorsing this by any stretch of the imagination. But like I said, we have some common enemies that we're willing to help you eliminate if you help us eliminate them as well. That's the extent with which we're willing to help you. However that may unfold, we'll find out. But that's about the long and short of it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I feel like we might be able to come up with a plan if we're still sneaky about it to get to King Cram, but he's very powerful. I don't know if you knew that.
We've had a taste. I think we can get back to where you guys are stationed. Discuss a plan. I think that's wise. Well, I'd like to hear what you have and what your numbers look like.
Okay, let's do that.
And so he guides you up the beach, through the brush, through back into the cudgel mire. He seems to be relatively at home in here. He is moving around effortlessly, guiding you guys through over fens and under logs and the like, and eventually
It's okay. I forget they haven't destroyed anything. It'll be right here.
and
Oh, it's still here, Frank. Goodness.
and so he leads you to what seems to be nothing more than like a little wooden box, really, built behind, like under the canopy of all these weeping willow trees that seem to cover it entirely. The thick canopy underneath it, above it rather, underneath.
That could be a word.
And then there are basically like logs forming barricades, and he finds one little spot where all of you are able to kind of weasel your way into, and then that's where you have found the box. And so it seems to be heavily fortified in this little grove. And he goes and does a little knock on the trap door, and then the trap door flies open from. And we are just going to call it here. We'll be back next Wednesday for Legends of Avantris. We'll be back on Monday for Call of the Feywild. So I believe our schedule should be all back to normal, but so just, standard session length. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. And we'll let all the Facebook people know. We'll keep everyone updated on our Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitch if you haven't. Thanks so much for everyone who tuned in. And I think we're good to go.
Yep, I think you guys lost me. You can't see us, but
you're in a black box.
It's good seeing everybody. Thank you for coming out. We'll be, like I said, like Mikey said, we'll continue Monday with Feywilds, and then we'll be back Prime. We'll be back on Wednesday. And as always, come hang out on Twitch. We're the Twitch chat's always really active, and we've got a couple of us in Twitch chat talking to people. So
yeah,
come on out. And it'll be a good time on Wednesday.
Yeah, and welcome to all the new people. So yeah, we really appreciate you guys, and we love you guys, and keep on keeping on, Adventures fam. See you next time.